Good morning, Mami.
Good morning,
Good morning. Mwah!
Good morning, Daddy!
Bunso.
Kain na.
Daddy, kamusta yung yung right of passage? Bye-bye, bye-bye. Bye, Mami.
In respectful presence of our brothers and sisters across boundaries and faiths, let us all join in prayer and worship and gratitude and for guidance. Almighty and eternal God, we thank you for the gift of life and all its joys. We thank you for today, for all its challenges, in all its splendor. We thank you for the gift of one another. O God of infinite mercy and wisdom, only in unity with your will can all our toils have true meaning. Transform us into willing and able stewards of this world and its future. Bring us together to work with understanding and compassion. As we toil and grow weary, we pray for renewed strength and resolve. As we experience pain and sorrow, let us be reminded of untold good beyond. As we face continuing challenges, grant that we remain faithful yet resilient. As we see pain and suffering, let us be instruments of your peace and extensions of your loving and healing hands. As we gather here today, bless us all that our collective knowledge be tempered and guided by your wisdom. Endow us with humility and purity of heart to transcend all differences and reservations. When we leave this gathering, let it be with clearer vision to see the common good amidst all distractions. As we endeavor for learning recovery, let it be that we also build resiliency. As we work for our learners and their future, may it be in solidarity with one another. As we achieve our goals, let it be that your will be done. In solemn silence, let us conclude with our own personal prayer.
Good morning, our dearest educampions, and welcome to day 2 of the 2023 Tertiary Book Launch and Webinar entitled Digital Citizenship, Maximizing Responsible Use of Tech Tools to Level Up Learning, brought to you by Rex Education. I am your host, Robin Nambayan. Now, I am seeing familiar faces online right now, the ones who were also with us yesterday. Thank you so much for joining us again today. And to those who are joining us just now, let's have a quick recap of what happened during our day 1. Yesterday, we met our first batch of authors who talked about their learning solutions and shared with us their knowledge and expertise in how to maximize learning through the use of technology. We had with us techpreneur and CEO Mr. Christopher Cruz, who talked about the different digital technology tools that our learners can use in making their learning experiences more fun, interactive, and more productive. Among the things he shared, he told our educampions that while there are many tools available to us online, ultimately, it is up to you to know what tools to use and what tools are just distractions. Ngayong araw naman, bubusugin ulit namin kayo ng mga bagong kaalaman kung paano mas level up pa ang learning journey ng ating bawat college student. Now, can I see our college students here? If you are a college student, can you comment a heart in the comment section or heart react naman to this live stream, everybody? Can I check? There you go. I am seeing a lot of you. Ang dami nating college students right here. Keep on reacting and commenting on our live stream on Facebook and YouTube channel because we've got surprises and prizes to the most active viewers today. Now, this morning, everybody, it is going to be very fun and very exciting because Rex prepared so many things para sa ating lahat. We're going to have our second batch of higher education book authors who will be sharing with us the importance of today's webinar topic and how their books can help our college students to step up in their game. That is learning. We will also be joined by an esteemed guest, an educator from the University of Massachusetts, Boston, who will share insights and tips about responsible digital citizenship. You know what? I already have so many questions in mind, and I'm sure kayo din. Kaya naman, comment your questions, your concerns, your clarifications sa ating comment sections of our official Facebook page and YouTube channel. Also, to get an e-certificate from this book launch and webinar, just simply follow these steps. Step number 1. Watch the 2023 book launch and webinar via our official Facebook page and YouTube channel. And step number 2, accomplish the evaluation form after every webinar. As easy as that, educampions. And of course, hindi tayo papahuli sa mga kaganapan yesterday. Today, we will be having a raffle draw as well. Now, to have a chance to be one of today's fortunate winners in our raffle draw, simply engage with our speakers and authors during the event by asking insightful questions. We'll pay close attention to their presentations and share your comments and questions in our comment box of our Facebook and YouTube live streams. Diba? Ang dami ng learnings at nag-uumapaw pa ng blessings for everybody today. There you have it. I'm sure all of you are very excited with what's going to happen today. And with that, let us now meet our keynote speaker. Dr. Florianne Jimenez is an assistant professor of English at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, and at the University of New Hampshire beginning of fall 2023. She holds a PhD in composition and rhetoric from the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Her research on Filipino student writing during the American colonial era has been recognized nationally and internationally and appeared in journals and edited collections. She is also a very proud alum of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, with a degree of BA in English Studies and a Palanca awardee for creative nonfiction. Here to talk about responsible digital citizenship, Educampions, let's all welcome Dr. Florianne Jimenez.
Hi, good morning, Robin.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. So let me just share my screen. You ready? Okay. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna get started. Thank you, Robin, and thank you so much to the organizers for the invitation to speak with you all today. It's always such a privilege for me to be able to talk to any audience, of course, about my intellectual passions, but it's always very special and very meaningful for me to be invited to speak with fellow Filipinos, especially fellow Filipino educators, because I'm a proud Filipino educator myself. Today, I want to talk about digital citizenship, specifically how to use technology in a really overwhelming and information overloaded world. And tech there is in quotation marks for a very specific reason that I will get into in a minute. But thank you, Robin, for that great introduction. I also just want to share a little bit about who I am and what I do, and I think that will place my talk today into context. So I do hold a PhD in composition and rhetoric. That's the study, the theory and pedagogy of writing and communication. Specifically, I'm interested in how Filipinos and why Filipinos communicate in an ever-changing world. And my job is actually three jobs. So I do research as a scholar and I publish. I also teach writing. And I've also worked in and managed writing centers. And my research is primarily on Filipino student writing from an older and a not very technologically driven time. So this is the early 20th century, the American colonial era. So wala pang computers nun, wala pang internet. I'm looking at handwritten student essays from that time. And so, now you might be asking, like, am I really a tech person? I don't study tech, I don't do code, I don't develop websites or apps or games, but I do use technology a lot in all of the things that I do as a researcher, as a teacher, as an administrator, and a scholar. So I would say that I am a tech person. I use a lot of tech, but perhaps not in the traditional sense. Because as a scholar and a teacher, I do use lots of technology every day to do my job. During the pandemic, I was managing a writing center that moved online. I was teaching students online. A lot of the work that I do, even as we pivoted to in-person teaching here to US, we still use online tools. I use learning management systems, I use Google Docs, I use my email. The tech that I use isn't always fancy or high-powered or sophisticated. Syempre, I have apps, I have websites, and then some of the tech that I use doesn't even have screens or buttons. But at the same time, I also have to recognize that I do interact with the digital world. My scholarship is online. My students are very online, so I have to understand the digital world that they are coming from, and how they are using tech to understand, to get through their learning journey. So how does my tech help me do that? I also want to invite you all to think about technology in a much broader sense, and we're going to go back to another time that is not very technologically forward, perhaps we would call it. The word technology actually comes from the Greek word techne, which means craft or art. So Plato and Aristotle and Socrates, those names might be familiar if you have heard of the Greek epics, for example, or the Greek philosophers. Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates could not agree on what a techne was, but the only thing that they could agree on was that a techne was not an object. It was not something like an app or a device. Techne was an art or a craft. It was something that humans did with specific things. And so let's expand what we think of today, as we're thinking today about what we mean by technology. Technology is not objects. Technology is not just fancy apps or fancy websites. Technology is used to make something. Having the tech is not an end in itself. And so I will, of course, be talking today about some digital tools that I use, some websites, some online tools, because they are really helpful. I rely on them a lot, but I'm also going to be talking about some mas old school na tech, in a sense that this is the tech that I use as a teacher and as a learner and a researcher myself in order to be a good citizen. So when I think of the term citizenship, citizenship is really about a set of rights and responsibilities. We might think of citizenship when we think about nations. Like citizenship, citizens are people who have a set of rights and responsibilities towards a nation. If you are a citizen of the Philippines, you have certain rights that are given to you by the state, but you also have certain responsibilities. You have to vote, pay taxes, obey laws. And so it's helpful to use this framework in thinking about the digital world. In the digital world, there aren't really nations, there aren't really borders, but there still should be a set of rights and responsibilities that we all adhere to. And then let's add on that layer of the fact that we are learners and teachers. As digital citizens, what are we supposed to be doing? How do we act? How do we practice good digital citizenship? And so a concept that I'd like us to keep thinking about today also is that as learners and as students and teachers, we're not only responsible to one another in the digital world. It's not just about kindness or compassion or hearing each other out, but we also have a responsibility towards knowledge itself. I believe that we have a responsibility to ideas, to the work of other people, and also to produce good ideas and to produce quality ideas when we put them in the digital world. So, how do we act with a sense of responsibility to one another and to knowledge? So I could talk about that all day, but I'm only going to talk about three major concepts or three major sort of principles that I would suggest that we can start employing as students and teachers. So the first concept that I want to talk about is the use of citation. And many of you in the room might be like rolling your eyes or zoning out right now, including myself. Personally, I really struggle with citation, even as a researcher and teacher. I have to teach students how to cite. I regularly have to do citations when I'm publishing or when I'm writing, but it's still a process that I really, really dread. I have to admit that because it's hard, because it's not a natural or it's not an instinctive part of the process. For example, when we're thinking about works cited entries, saan mo ba ilalagay yung period, yung comma, yung semicolon, where do you put the place of the publisher? And I understand as a student and as a writer that can be really frustrating. But there are tools that I use to make sure that I'm citing well, because if I'm citing people well, I'm citing responsibly. So the first tool that I want to talk about is a tool called Zotero. I invite you all to Google it and check it out. Zotero is a free citation management software. So Zotero lets you automatically save items from the internet. They can be PDFs, websites, YouTube videos, pictures. You can organize them into folders and save them. And somehow, and that's in the picture on the right side, that's on the rightmost side of the screen, an AI produces metadata that pulls all of the bibliographic information that you would need to cite that source. So instead of, and this is how we used to do it when we used to do research with index cards, instead of handwriting the author, the name, the title, the chapter, the page numbers, an AI already figures all of that out for you and organizes it for you and saves a lot of time. So Zotero is free. You can use it in teams. You can collaborate with other people when you use Zotero. It does take a little bit of time to learn. I'm still learning how to use it myself, but I believe that it's a really helpful tool, especially if you're working on a lot of research projects and you want to keep track of all of your sources. Another tool that I do use is a tool called EasyBib. So this is a citation generator. And there are lots of citation generators out there. Some are free and some are not. And EasyBib, I will admit, I do use that, but I only use it if I'm willing to put in the time to check what it is doing. So citation management software is not bad. You are not cheating if you use citation management software, but you do ultimately have to have the responsibility to check your sources and to make sure that they are being cited correctly. These things can make mistakes. They can make mistakes with really tricky things like online sources that don't have page numbers. So if you're going to use a citation management software, please make sure that you are using, please make sure that you are verifying your sources. And third, a really simple tool, and it's not super high tech, but it's very reliable. I use the OWL at Purdue. The OWL stands for the Online Writing Lab at Purdue. So this is an extensive website of all of the citation styles, and it's about formatting and citation and writing. I find that when I'm doing my research and when I'm working on my citations, I always have the Purdue OWL open as a guide to remind me how I'm supposed to be citing in APA style or Chicago style or whatever style I need that day. But of course, it's not just about the tools. Sabi nga ni Sir Krister kahapon, it's really up to you to think about how you use these tools, and I fully agree. And so using these citation tech tools can only really work in a classroom that is thinking about citation in a big picture. And so here I'm addressing the teachers in the room who might be asking, how do I actually teach my students citation effectively? It can be a really frustrating process for both students and teachers. So from a pedagogical standpoint, I would encourage teachers to encourage the habits and instincts for citation in students rather than policing the small details. So I will admit, a few years ago, I was a real stickler for citation. I would give students points down for missing the comma or missing a period or forgetting to cite a source. I don't do that anymore. Instead, what I encourage students to do is to learn citation slowly, and if they to try to give them the time to figure out how to cite rather than punishing them for making mistakes. And I also believe that teaching citation requires having conversations in your classroom about why citation and why we have all of these styles. Why do we have MLA, why APA, Chicago style? Why do they matter? And those conversations revolve around things like consistency. We have citation styles that are consistent because then it's like we're all speaking the same language. We're all valuing the same things. Citation and adherence to citation style matters because it helps other researchers. As a researcher myself, I often find that I'm looking at people's sources and people's works cited entries to get ideas for my next projects. And third, it is also about amplifying other voices. When you cite somebody and put their work and put their voice in your work, you are also giving them a platform. So if we're giving somebody a platform, we want to make sure that that platform is correct. So the second concept that I want us to think about with regard to digital citizenship is this idea of style and substance. So when it comes to style and substance, I will admit that tech tools can make our research and our learning materials look really good in digital spaces. And that is part of being a good digital citizen. It's making sure that your message gets across in a digital space, that it is attractive, that people want to engage with it. And tech just makes it easier to make our ideas and our materials look good. And it's really okay to admit that. So as an example, I have on the left side of this slide, this is a screenshot of like the top of my syllabus from a composition class, very plain Microsoft Word. This was from a time when I was just printing out my syllabi, handing it out to students on day one, and it looks fine. It's perfectly readable. But as I noticed more and more students using phones, tablets, laptops in my class, I realized that, you know, the Word document doesn't really make my class seem attractive. So I started making my syllabi a little more visually appealing. Now I use colors, now I use graphics, and I do that with a couple of helpful tech tools. And these might be familiar to you, and I think Krister mentioned them yesterday. First is Canva, and personally, I prefer Pictochart. So these are two tools that really help, that give you templates that can make your syllabi, your reports, your posters, what have you, more visually appealing. The third idea that I want to bring forward and that I want to talk about today is this idea of slowing down. So with tech and with a lot of tech coming out, I think there's a real temptation to be fast, to adopt tech quickly, to produce quickly, to be as productive as we can. And I think that actually we could start thinking about tech in a more critical way and actually, you know, get away from this false sense of urgency. So I actually use tech to slow down my thinking and my ideas to make sure they're good. So what tech tools do I use to do that? So first, on the left, I use an app called Forest. So Forest is an app that lets me stay off of my phone. So I can set a timer for a certain number of minutes where that, and if I navigate off of that screen, a tree will die. If I don't stay on that screen for the appointed number of minutes, my tree will die. But if I'm good, if I stay off of my phone and I focus on my work, if I focus on my thinking, then I get to have a little forest, hence the name. Another tech tool that I use to slow down my thinking, and again, it's not terribly high tech, but it's really important for me, is a tool called FreeMind, which is a mind mapping software. My mind maps are very messy, not very visually appealing, really readable only to myself. But this really helps me sort out my ideas. So this is all stuff that's part of my learning process, and I invite you to explore tools like this to see how they can help you. But also, and again, going back to that larger sense of technology as techne, that technology isn't always digital. I really believe that sometimes stepping away from the digital is a techne in itself. Even in this digital world, it's really important to slow down and pursue other ways, older ways of thinking. So these are actually pages from my own notebooks. I still use pen and paper. Much of my dissertation was written by hand and then, of course, typed into a computer. I handwrite my notes simply when I find that when I'm stuck, when the digital world, when the blank screen feels a little intimidating, pen and paper are technologies, just as computers are technologies. So don't be afraid, don't feel like you're failing if you feel like you have to go back. I also will admit that, you know, despite my using Canva and Pictochart and using visual images, I also will draw my ideas. And again, doesn't look super visually appealing, but getting back to pen and paper and actually slowing down actually helps me produce better ideas. The third thing that I invite us to think about with regard to tech tools for slowing down is connectivity apps and collaboration tools. On the right here, this is actually a group chat that I've set up with other writing program administrators, where here we're talking about ChatGPT, we're discussing how to use it in our writing centers. And so we might not think, iMessage and Discord and Zoom have been around for a while, but these are also technology that can be really helpful. You can use them to think with other people and to connect with other people to make your ideas better. And lastly, when I think about the idea of slowing down, and this is for the students in the room, um, I have been there. I was a college student myself, and I would also leave things until the last minute. And when you leave your learning until the last minute, your ideas aren't going to be good. And so I invite you to think about slowing down and project management, how you manage your learning. You can use a tool like Trello, which is a Kanban board system where you can track where each project is at a certain phase. Or you can use a little more analog technology and just use a planner. Put all of your deadlines, put all of the things that you have to work on at the beginning of the semester into your planner. And make sure to give yourself enough time to actually use tech, to actually learn instead of rushing it all at the last minute. Because that is often where things like sharing articles indiscriminately or misciting or not citing authors happens is when we are rushing. So I will leave you all with some parting thoughts on digital citizenship. Is one, don't get overwhelmed by all the new tools and apps and tech tools that are coming out. Some of them are great, but there's a lot of them. So I really invite you to give yourself time to adjust and learn and decide what works for you. Second, it's that more tech doesn't always mean you're more productive or better. Sometimes it's better to just have one or two really great tech tools that you use. And lastly, that digital citizenship means that we're producing content and circulating knowledge with integrity. And tech can certainly help you do that, but you also have to be really present in the process. So I am going to pause there. Thank you all for inviting me to speak with you all today. Maraming salamat. Robin, back to you.
Hello, Dr. Florian. Thank you so much for that very wonderful keynote message for everybody. Thank you so much again for sharing your intellectual passions to all of our educampions watching us from all over the world this morning. I think it is truly a remarkable moment to be able to live in the pre-technology era and then also live in the digital era that we're experiencing right now, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I am a millennial. So I experienced research before internet and after.
There you go. It also somehow gives you a sense of what not to do and what to do online. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Dr. Florian, for sharing with us those very insightful tips on how to be a responsible digital citizen. And of course, those links that you sent, that you gave everybody, we are putting it down. We're taking down notes. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Florian
Thank you.
Jimenez, everybody. Thank you so
Thanks.
much. There you have it, everyone. We will definitely remember and use all of her tips and how it is to be a responsible digital citizen. Am I right? If you are saying yes, please type it in the comments section of our Facebook Live and, of course, our YouTube live stream. Now, again, Dr. Florian will be with us until the end of the program. So stay tuned for more of her as she wraps up our day two later on in the program. Right now, everyone, another exciting news for all of you today. Some of you may still be unaware of how Rex Education is dedicated to providing relevant learning solutions in today's educational landscape. In addition to high quality textbooks and modules, we offer digital learning solutions as well. For instance, everybody, Schoology is a cloud based comprehensive learning management system empowering educators to create engaging content, design lessons, and assess student understanding in hybrid learning environments. Rex Education also provides the JA Entrepreneurial Skills Pass, a CHED accredited alternative for college students on the job training, offering entrepreneurship training and internationally recognized credentials in collaboration with Junior Achievement Europe and endorsed by the European Commission. Furthermore, to enhance employability, of our college graduates in the Philippines, Rex also offers the Harrison Assessments, a cutting edge web based diagnostic solution with a proven track record of predicting job success with up to 90% accuracy. Now, this product provides career guidance to college students and assists educational institutions in offering career guidance to your future graduates. On top of the cutting edge digital learning solutions I've just mentioned, Rex also provides comprehensive after sales support for all of these learning solutions. So you're sure that we'll be with you every step of the way towards a brighter future for our educampions. If you are interested in learning more about these solutions, please email us at ticsupport@rex.com.ph or contact the materials advisor in your area to schedule a presentation with Rex Education. Also, right this morning, we encourage everyone from the audience, from all of you, to post your thoughts, your learnings, your insights from our keynote speaker's presentation on the comment section. And later, we will be reading some of your messages. Now, at this point, we will be moving forward to the segment where we get to ask our dear authors about what they learned and their opinions from their presentation. And also, we're going to be talking about the learning solutions that they are offering for you, our tertiary learners. Starting off with Pagtuturo Mula sa Puso. Now, our first author this morning is an affiliate professor from the Philippine Normal University. She finished Bachelor of Science major in elementary education with Latin honor cum laude, and she also finished her master's in education in teaching Filipino and literature in the same university and acquired her PhD in language planning from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. She is former head of the Filipino department and former dean of the College of Language and Linguistics, former vice president for academics, and former board of regents in PNU Manila. Our the Campeons, please welcome on our virtual stage Dr. Lydia Buenafe Liwanag. Hi, magandang umaga po, Miss Lydia. Hello?
Hello,
Magandang
magandang
umaga
umaga
po, Dr.
sa
Lydia.
inyong
Kamusta
lahat.
po kayo?
Mabuti naman, although ang panahon ay medyo umuulan-ulan,
Opo, medyo
kailangan
madilim
tayong
na ang
maging
panahon.
masaya sa panahon ito.
Tama po kayo dyan,
Magandang
Dr.
umaga
Lydia.
sa lahat ng mga kasama nating mga kaguro na ngayon sa ating Zoom at sa ating webinar.
Tuwang-tuwa po kami na narito kayo. Kasama namin, Dr. Lydia, ngayong umaga. Pero ngayon po, tumako naman tayo sa inyong sinulat na aklat, ang pagtuturo mula sa puso. Dr. Lydia, may tanong ka lang po, bakit po ito naging pamagat ng inyong sangguniang aklat?
Magandang dahilan kung bakit siya ang pamagat ng aking sangguniang aklat para sa mga guro. Bilang isang edukador, ako ay naniniwala na ang mga magagaling na guro ay hindi lamang nagtuturo gamit ang kanilang mga inihandang banghay-aralin at kagamitang pagturo sa pagtuturo ng Pilipino, kundi sila ay nagtuturo na may dedikasyon at ginagawa nila ito mula sa kanilang puso. Kaya ang pamagat ng aking sangguniang aklat ay pagtuturo mula sa puso, teaching from the heart.
Teaching from the Hearts. Napakagandang title ng ating sangguniang aklat. Dr. Lydia, paano po ba makatutulong ito sa mga guro, yung sinulat ninyong aklat?
Isa pang dahilan kung bakit ito ay na ginawa ko, pwede ko pang dagdagan yung kanina, na
Opo,
sa loob ng 37 taon ng pagtuturo ko ng Pilipino sa mga mag-aaral na di graduado at saka graduado sa PNU, nakita ko ang kahalagahan ng isang aklat para sa Pilipino, pagtuturo ng Pilipino, dahil wala kami magamit na aklat na nakasulat sa Pilipino. Lahat ng aklat namin na binabasa ay galing sa mga foreign authors at kailangang isalin pa ng guro at ng mga mag-aaral. At ito ay matagal na proseso. Kaya naman naisip ko na sa tagal ng panahon ng pagtuturo ko na kailangan din kami makabuo ng isang aklat na magiging sanggunian ng mga mag-aaral at nagturo sa kanilang pagtuturo ng mga kurso para sa mga bata, mag-aaral na nagpapakadalubhasa sa Pilipino at para sa aking mga mag-aaral na nasa graduado sa MA at PhD. Kaya naman, ang ginawa kong ito ay binatay ko doon sa aming mga paksa, kurso na galing sa CHED at sa aming mga syllabus sa PNU. Kasi marami ring makikita rin na kahit na nagbabasa ka ng mga aklat sa ibang bansa, ang mga perspektibo o pananaw nila ay naiiba sa ating pananaw bilang Pilipino at pagtuturo at perspektibo dahil naiba ang kanilang kliyente doon. Iba ang kanilang mga mag-aaral, iba rin ang kanilang mga guro. Kaya iniakma namin ang mga paksa at saka nilalaman ng aming kurso sa perspektibo natin mga Pilipino. Kasi hindi pa pwedeng ang sali natin ay kaparehong-kapareho na sa Ingles na pati curriculum ay batay sa Ingles. Kailangan magkaroon tayo ng sarili nating curriculum. Kaya ang aklat na ito ay nabuo ng matagal na panahon na rin. At sa lahat ng aking mga panayam at pagsasalita sa mga lokal, national at international na mga konferensya, ay bahagi ito ng aking mga pag-aaral at pananaliksik. At tungkol nga doon sa aking disertasyon, ito ay pinag-aralan ko rin kung paano ang pagpaplanong panwika dito sa ating bansa. Kalinsabay ng mga bansang Singapore at Hong Kong dahil nakita kong maganda ang kanilang mga paraan ng pagtuturo. So, matagal na rin itong hinihiling ng aking mga mag-aaral sa MA at PhD na buuin ko ang aking mga sinasabi sa aking mga konferensya para naman hindi daw isa-isa lang nilang hinahanap pa sa Google o kasi mga naka-upload ng iba sa Google na hindi ko alam. Kasi iba ang nag-upload, iba rin ang kikinabang doon sa kanila. Kaya naisip ko na sa panahon ng pandemya, habang ang mga tao ay iba ang nasa isip kundi ang ating pag-iwas sa sakit na COVID. Ako ay nagsimulang gawin ito. Binuo ko lahat ng aking mga panayam at lahat ng aking mga naisulat sa iba't ibang journal, sa iba't ibang newsletter para makabuo ng isang aklat para sa mga guro. At ito ay magiging patnubay nila, kaya nilagyan ko ng sangguniang pangguro sa pagtuturo ng Pilipino para sa elementarya, sekundarya at tersyarya. So yan ang kabuang background kung bakit nabuo ang aklat na ito at bakit hiniling ko na ang Rex ang mag-print nito dahil alam ko malawak ang kanilang mga mabibigyan nitong mga guro sa buong Pilipinas. At maraming mga tindahan na hindi na sila kailangang pumunta ng Manila para bumili ng aklat. Ipapadala sa kanila ito ng Rex ng ayon dun sa kanilang hinihingi. So yan ang kasaysayan ng pagtuturo mula sa puso.
Nako, nakakatuwa po pala na sa wakas, ngayon dito sa ating bansa, meron na tayong aklat na talagang naka-focus para sa pagtuturo dito sa ating bansang Pilipinas. Talagang
Opo.
naka-focus ang learning para sa ating mga mag-aaral na Pilipino. Ngayon, Dr. Lydia, matanong ko lang po. So, tayo po, pinag-usapan natin ngayon yung tema ng digital citizenship, magiging
Yes.
responsible digital citizen dito sa Pilipinas, tayong bawat isa. Since pinag-usapan po natin yung blended learning, matanong ko lang po, magagamit po ba natin itong pagtuturo mula sa puso sa kasalukuyang paraan ng pagtuturo na blended teaching and learning?
Mahirap talaga magturo ng online batay sa sariling karanasan. Pagkat ako'y nagtuturo din ng online sa mga graduate students. At lalo na kung walang sanggunian na maaring pagbatayan ng ituturo. Madaling mag-online, high-tech ang mga mag-aaral. Pero kung wala naman yung nilalaman na kailangan mo ituro, ay saan ka naman maghahagilap na ituturo? So ang sangguniang aklat na ito ay naglalaman ng mga pamaraan at patnubay sa pagtuturong online. Meron akong paksa para dyan sa pamaraan ng pagtuturong online, blended learning na maaring synchronous at asynchronous, at kung paano nila hahatiin yung kanilang mga aralin sa pagtuturo sa online. So nasa aklat ko yun dahil isa ang mga pamaraan sa pagtuturo ang nasa aklat. Maaring pagtuturo ng harapan o face-to-face at maaring pagtuturo na online. Kaya may patnubay ang mga guro kung paano ito gagawin at kung ano ang mga paraan ng online na pagtuturo. So isa po ito sa kontribusyon ng ating sangguniang aklat.
Nakakatuwa naman malaman na naihanda at naiayon niyo po
Oo.
itong pagtuturo mula sa puso sa panahon ngayon para sa
So,
lahat
dahil
ng
nakaabot
estudyante?
ito sa COVID eh. Nakaabot siya sa pagbuo dun sa panahon ng COVID at naranasan ko yung online teaching. Isa pa, ito rin ay may magbibigay ng mga gawain, mga banghay-aralin sa guro na magagamit niya sa online. Lalo na ngayon na bago ang curriculum na ihahanda natin para sa elementary at sekundarya tungkol
Opo.
sa kinder to grade 3 na tuturo na ang literacy, pagtuturo ng literacy. So, nariyan na ang mga kasanayan, mga gawain sa pagtuturo ng literacy pamula sa kinder papunta sa grade 3. So, hindi na maghahagilap ang mga guro kung ano ba ang gagawin sa literacy kasi ang ibang guro hindi pa nila naintindihan na noong unang panahon nagsimula na tayo sa literacy. Hindi ko lang alam
Opo.
kung bakit nawala nung mga itong nakaraang curriculum. So, ibabalik na naman natin ngayon. At ang sabi nga, ang findings ay meron tayong learning poverty. May
Oh.
kahirapan sa pagkatuto ang mga mag-aaral. Hindi lang learning, hindi lang poverty in terms of food and health, kundi learning poverty na kahirapan. Kasi dahil sa COVID na pagtuturo ng online, nawala ang interes ng mga mag-aaral sa pagbasa, nawala sa pakikipag-usap, nakaharap lang sila maghapon sa computer, nawala
Computer,
rin
sa
ang
mga
kanilang social
gadgets.
aspect na paglinang, nawala sila ng kaugnayan sa mga tao sa kanilang paligid. So yan ay kailangan maibalik natin ngayon dahil nawala ang kanilang interes sa pagbasa, lalo na sa pagbasa, lalo na sa pagsasalita. Kasi ang kanilang interaction lang ay sa online, sa kanilang guro. So sana balikan natin ang ating mga literacy na pagtuturo para ang mga mag-aaral ay makabalik na sa streamline ng ating pagkatuto.
Eto po, Dr. Lydia, meron tayong isang katanungan galing sa ating mga manonood online. Ito po ay galing kay Christine Avila. Question, paano po kaya natin maipaparamdam sa mga mag-aaral ang ating dedikasyon sa pagtuturo o pagtuturo mula sa puso sa konteksto ng online class?
Ah, bagamat magkalayo kayo ng mag-aaral tsaka ng
Mhm.
guro, may paparamdam mo ang iyong dedikasyon sa kanila, hindi lamang sa iyong mga pagtuturo, kundi sa paraan ng paghikayat sa kanila, pagpapakita ng iyong damdamin, sa pagbibigay ng motibasyon araw-araw, kinukumusta mo ang kalang kalagayan, nagkukwentuhan kayo tungkol sa kanilang mga problema, suliranin. Kasi minsan ang guro straight to the point na lang ang turo. O, etong aralin natin, o pakinggan,
Kayo na
magbasa,
bahala.
pakinig.
Opo.
So, nawawala ba yung concern? Na o kumusta? Sino mga mag-aaral natin ang wala yata ngayon dahil sila ay may sakit? O mag-ingat kayo dahil laging tag-ulan at kailangan kayo ay mag-ingat ng sa inyong katawan. So, ang guro ay tumatayong nanay nila. Kasi nagpapaalala ka kahit nagtuturo ka ng online, kinukumusta mo rin sila. At maaari mo din itanong, ano ang mga naging problema nyo? Pwede nyo iharap dito sa ating pagtuturo at malalaman din ng iba nyo mga kaklase kung ang problema nyo ay problema din nila. At pag nasagot natin ang solusyon dyan, lahat ay nasagot na ang ating problema. So yung dedikasyon may ipapakita naman sa boses mo sa tinig, sa paghihikayat, sa uri ng pagsasalita, hindi yung laging matapang yung ating boses.
Opo.
Nakakatakot sa mga bata yan. Natatakot ang sila doon sa online na pagtuturo, ang boses mo pa ay hindi pa magandang pakinggan. At lagi nakangiti. Sabi ko doon sa online na pagtuturo ko na pamaraan, ang guro ay bago umaga, bagong ngiti, at bagong bati. Kasi nandyan yung ating kabay. Nandyan din yung, ang guro kinakabahan din. Ang bata pa, nandiyan pa yung nanay na nakabantay habang nag-online ng anak. So maraming mga stress na nandiyan sa paligid para sa bata. Kaya kung ang pagtuturo ay naging isang laro, naging isang kwentuhan, habang nagtuturo ka, nagkukwento ka rin ng mga sideline na mga nangyayari, kaugnay ng iyong tinuturo, magiging at home sila. At maaari din sila magkwento ng kanilang karanasan kung paano nila ginawa ng solusyon yung mga naging una nilang problema sa online. So, ang dedikasyon ay may pakikita sa boses, sa paraan ng paghikayat, sa paraan ng pagsasalita, sa gaan ng loob na Kasi ang pag-aral ng wika, kailangan yan ay law ang affective filter, law ang takot. Ibaba mo muna yon. Huwag ka munang magsimula ng pagtuturo na ang mga bata hindi pa handa. Maring iba dyan, ikagigising lang. Maring hindi pa nag-aagahan dahil minamadali nga ang pagtuturo dahil ang paggising dahil alas 7 online na sila. So, bigyan sila ng pagkakataon na makarelax muna bago magsimula ng pagtuturo. Salamat, Christine. Isa siya sa aking mga estudyante sa PhD.
Hi!
Sa
Hello,
Naguman.
Christine Avila
At
po.
outstanding
Maraming
siya,
salamat.
guro ng
Oo, kaya po pala
Metrobank.
ganun ang tanong niya talagang sa konteksto ng pagtuturo.
Oo.
Ito po, Dr. Lydia, next na tanong natin, napapanahon po ba at angkop po ba sa kasalukuyang pamamaraan ng pagtuturo ng Filipino ang nilalaan ng sangguniang aklat na sinulat
Nilalaman.
ninyo?
Oo. Inihanda talaga ang sangguniang aklat na ito na angkop sa kasalukuyang panahon dahil updated ang mga paksa, ang nilalaman, sapagkat nababago na ngayon ang ating mga aklat, iba-iba na ngayon ang bagong perspektiba sa pagtuturo. Kaya dito ay kasama na ang mga bagong kalakaran sa pagtuturo ng Filipino na maaaring hindi pa nababasa ng mga guro sa kasalukuyan at maaari nilang gawin sa kanilang mga pagtuturo. Maaring marami ng kaalaman ang mga guro natin sa field, kasi magagaling ang mga guro natin. Kaya lang, may mga kasanayan din sila at kaalaman na dapat na madagdag sa kanila. At yan ang pinagmamalaki ko. Na sa aking aklat, nagbigay ako ng focus sa isang chapter doon sa mga dapat na maging kaalaman at kasanayan ng guro sa pagtuturo. Hindi lamang yung paraan, kundi ano ba dapat ang malaman nila tungkol ngayon sa kasalukuyang mga termino, sa kasalukuyang mga kalakaran tulad ng multilingual, multicultural, global na kapaligiran ng pagtuturo, mga uri ng mga tanong na dapat gawin sa 21st century na ginawa natin sa Rex noon nung nag-develop ng mga tanong at yung mga iba't ibang klase ng tanong na ayon kay Bloom na ngayon ay gagamitin na sa pagtuturo, Bloom's taxonomy sa Pilipino. So tinuro ko yun kung paano nila buuin ang mga tanong. So meron din silang mga paksa tungkol sa pagpaplanong pangwika, paano ang MTB-MLE. So lahat ay binigay ko yon para sa kanilang sariling consumption, variety ng wika. So lahat ng mga bago ngayong paksa na dapat nilang basahin, ay dapat nilang maunawaan bago sila magturo ay naroon sa huling chapter para sa kanilang sariling kaalaman at kasanayan.
Talaga po palang kumpletong-kumpleto itong sangguniang aklat na isinulat ninyo, Dr. Lydia.
Yes. Binigay ko na sa kanila lahat na nile-lecture ko sa PhD. Pinalagay ko na sa aklat para kahit hindi sa amin nag-PhD at nag-MA, mababasa nila yung mga itinuturo namin sa MA at PhD sa Pilipino.
Naku, alam niyo po ba, ang dami-daming guro na nanonood sa atin ngayong umaga. Isa rito, meron po tayong katanungan galing kay Shalom Lumanglas. Malamang guro din po ito. Ang tanong po ni Shalom ay, ano po, Ma'am Lydia, ang ginagawa ninyong batayan para ma-prove na authentic ang output ng mga estudyante sa assessment process sa blended learning?
Di ba sa blended learning, maaring online yan o asynchronous, yung sila lang, ano. So, ang tanong niya, ano ang mga authenticong pagtataya
Opo,
sa pagkatuto?
para ma-prove na authentic ang output ng mga estudyante, na talagang gawa ng mga estudyante, yung mga pinapasa nila.
Paano malalaman ng guro na silang gumawa pati ng kanilang mga assignment at
Opo.
saka yung authentic na kasanayan? Siguro gawin natin na ayon sa kanilang karanasan.
Mm.
Ang pagbibigay ng assignment para maging authentic ay iugnay sa kanilang mga nararanasan sa paligid. Sapagkat sila lang ang nakakaalam kung ano ang kanilang mga karanasan sa paligid. Halimbawa, nagbigay ka ng mga paksa tungkol sa kanilang mga susulatin. Huwag naman yung mga susulatin nila ay hindi abot ng kanilang kakayahan. Katulad ng mga issue sa bansa, masyado yung malawak. Siguro issue na lang tungkol sa mga basura sa paligid nila, paano yun masusolusyonan. Yun ang ibibigay mo assignment. O kaya magtanong-tanong sila sa mga kapitbahay nila kung paano mag-recycle ng basura o kaya sa sarili nilang tahanan, yan ay magagawa na authentic kung ang bata ay kayang gawin. Pero kung mahirap ipagagawa mo, talaga ang nanay o tatay na lang ang gagawa niyan at ipapasa na lang sa iyo. Maari ring authentic kung makakapagbigay sila ng ulat tungkol sa kanilang mga nararanasan sa paligid, sa ulat sa online, isasabihin nila ang sitwasyon, ang naging problema at ang kanilang solusyon doon sa sitwasyon. So dapat actual na yung bata ang magsasalita, hindi yung isusulat lang nila at ipapasa sa kanilang guro. Okay? So mga authentic yan. Kaya patulain ang bata sa online. Ano ang kanyang sinulat na tugma? Patulain yun. Yun ang authentic na assessment. Ang mga assessment ngayon ay product at saka performance na. Kailangan nagagawa nila at na-perform nila ang kanilang ginagawang pagtataya. Hindi pagsusulit na laging pencil and paper. Kailangan makita mo talaga actual yung kanyang kakayahan. Mayroon pa bang ano pa, Shalom? Ano pa ang magagawa mo dahil tayo ay maraming talagang katulad ng issue. Yung issue tungkol doon sa ano yung nilalaro ngayon na pinagbabawal? Yung ano yun? Yung parang tumutunog na dalawang
lato.
Lato-lato. O, tanong mo sa mag-aaral, kung elementary yan, naniniwala ka pa na kailangang iban ang lato-lato. O, bakit? Yan. So, sa usapan pa lang, karanasan na, ay nakikita na nila, namamasid, baka naglalaro yan ng lato-lato. Ano ang mga naging problema sa paglalaro? Okay, paano maiwasan ang mga problema?
Alam niyo po ba, Dr. Lydia, kahapon, ito po ay sinabi rin ni Dean Dani na isa nga po to sa mga problema sa mga estudyante ngayon dahil digital na nga po lahat, yung iba gumagamit ng AI para maisulat ang kanilang mga pinapasang mga assignments. Kaya tama po yung sinabi ninyo, yun din po sinabi ni Dindani kahapon sa day 1 natin, na talagang kailangan na itatanong mo, may kasamang personal na experience ng estudyante. Dahil yun ang hindi magagawa ng AI.
Wala yun. Hindi sila makakapangopya.
Ngayon po, Dr. Lydia, ito po ay susunod na tanong galing po kay Teresita Ladisla. Okay po ba na magbigay ng incentives bilang paraan ng paghihikayat para sa ating mga estudyante?
Incentive na material?
Opo, kunyari, siguro additional bonus
Hindi naman,
points.
kung online, hindi naman pwede magbigay ka ng candy dyan o kaya
Opo. Kunyari po mga dagdag sa grado, bonus points, mga ganyan. Additional
Siguro,
points, ano?
sa grado, pwede yan dagdagan yung kanilang performance doon sa kanilang ginawa sa online. Nadadagdagan mo ng +2 o +5 doon sa kanilang ginawang pag-uulat o ginawang pagtula o ginawang pag-awit para magkaroon naman ng initiative din yung ibang bata na magsikap din na mag-perform doon sa online. Saka yung mga batang madalas na sumagot, yung magaling sumagot, na hindi na nangunguna lagi sa pagtaas ng kamay doon sa online. Yan ay kailangan hindi lang yung incentive, kailangan ay papuri. Kailangan ay bigyan mo ng papuri anytime na mayroong nagawa ang bata na magaling siya at ang mga mag-aaral, maaari din ang mga mag-aaral ang magbigay ng papuri doon sa kapwa niya mag-aaral para lalong mahikayat yung bata. Di ba? Mas masaya yung kapwa mo mag-aaral ang pumupuri sa iyo kaysa doon sa guro lang. Sabihin naman ng ibang mag-aaral, ay lagi na lang siya ang pinuri. Kailangan naman baligtarin mo yung mga mag-aaral ay magbibigay naman sila ng papuri doon sa kanilang mga kapwa mag-aaral na nagsisikap na maka-perform na maganda, sumagot, at laging active. Kailangan lagi tayo active kasi kailangan every 30 minutes tatayo yan. At kailangan magluksuhan sila sa bahay nila. Mahirap ang bata, lalo na kung elementary, short ang attention span yan. Kaya payagang pumunta sa bathroom, kaya payagang uminom ng tubig. Kailangan nating ang mga oras ng bata ay bigyan ng pagkakataon sila na makapag-relieve ng sarili. So, ang incentive ay parang dagdag ng puntos sa kanilang mga performance ngayong araw na to. Papuri, palakpakan, laging pagbibigay ng papuri sa mga mag-aaral na laging sumasagot, laging nagbabasa, laging ginagawa ang kanilang mga asynchronous na mga gawain.
Ayan, sa mga gurong nanonood sa atin, isulat nyo na lahat ng tips na yan or you know what? Bumili na kayo ng libro ni Dr. Lydia, Pagtuturo Mula sa Puso. Ito po, Dr. Lydia, isa pong katanungan, medyo interesting siya, galing po kay Diane Kennedy.
Oh,
Meron po ba tayong resource book para sa pagtuturo ng Filipino sa mga non-Filipino speakers? Malamang po itong si Diane Kennedy foreigner. Meron po ba
ah,
tayong ganoong libro?
ako po ay merong inihanda mga activity pero hindi ko pa isama dito sa Sangguniang Aklat para sa mga guro ng Pilipino. Maaari po tayong ilagay yon dahil nagturo po ako ng Pilipino sa mga foreigner sa bilang Fulbright Scholar sa Oregon.
Wow!
Mga mag-aaral na MA at PhD. At saka dito po, nagtuturo po ako noon sa mga ADB director and officials ng Pilipino na yung mga napapa-assign dito sa Philippines, mga Inchik, mga Indonesian, mga Japanese, mga US citizen, US people. Ay nagturo ako diyan, nakagawa ako ng mga kagamitan para sa kanila. Kailangan po ang paghahanda nun dahil titingnan mo rin kung sino yung mga kliyente mo. Kasi iba-iba ang kanilang mga kailangan. Merong mga beginner, merong advanced, meron ng intermediate. So, siguro kailangan natin din sa Rex na gumawa din ng yung graded na mga activity para sa pagtuturo ng dayuhan from their beginning stage kung wala talaga silang alam pa, and then we go to the next level then they reach the intermediate or the
Ito po
maturity
ba,
level.
Dr. Lydia, kasama rin po ba ito dito sa sinulat ninyong libro na Pagtuturo Mula sa Puso? O susulat pa ulit kayo ng panibagong libro po para po dyan?
Oo, kasi kailangan ng introduction diyan at saka ibang perspektibo ng
Oh.
pagtuturo pwede rin siguro na kung sa susunod na edisyon, magdagdag ako dun sa
Yun.
aking magdadagdag tayo dun sa ating libro. Okay? Kaya lang makapal na yan 600 pages na yun.
Naku, talagang siksik sa kaalaman ang
Opo.
isinulat ninyong sangguniang
So, huwag
aklat.
kayong mag-alala at dadagdagan ko na lang yan sa ating mga susunod na edition. Salamat po.
Ito po, huling katanungan. Magkakaroon po ba ng higit na kasanayan at kaalaman ng mga guro sa iba't ibang level sa pagtuturo ng Filipino gamit ang inyong sangguniang aklat? Ito po ba ay para sa mga grade school teachers lang o pwede po ito gamitin hanggang sa mga kolehiyo na pang-level natin?
Ang talagang kliyente o talagang pinagtuunan ng paghahanda niyan ay ang mga guro na nagsisimula na nag-specialize pa lang sa Pilipino, yung mga pre-service teachers namin sa normal na magtuturo ng Pilipino sa sekundarya at elementarya at mga kasalukuyang guro sa panahong ito na nagtuturo sa elementarya, sekundarya at tersyarya. So lahat ng mga paksa, kurso na nakapaloob at nilalaman ng aklat ay magagamit ng mga guro kung kapag sila ay nagtuturo sa elementary, sa secondary at tertiary, lalo na sa elementary at secondary, dapat may nilagay tayong mga banghay aralin sa sekundarya at elementarya para sa pagtuturo ng mga aralin sa wika at pagbasa. At naglagay din tayo ng mga uri ng pagsusulit, wika, pagsusulit sa iba't ibang kasanayan na nakalagay din sa ating aklat. May mga glosaryo din tayo ng mga katawagan para alam ng guro kung ano yung mga term na sasabihin niya sa kanyang pagtuturo, lalo na sa secondary at sa tertiary. So sa mga tertiary, nandyan yung mga topic na pinag-uusapan sa mga curriculum sa PhD, sa MA, na nilahanda ng CHED at saka ng PNU, Philippine Normal University, para sa MA at PhD.
Ayan.
So
Ito
lahat po ay sinakop na.
Opo.
So para sa elementary, nandiyan ang mga pamaraan, ang mga estratehiya, ang mga paraan ng paggawa ng pangharalin, mga pagsusulit. Para secondary, nandiyan din ang pangharalin, nandiyan din ang mga paraan ng pagtuturo ng mga kasanang sekundarya. Sa tertiarya, nandiyan ang mga paksa, mga kurso na kanilang tatalakayin sa kanilang pag-aaral ng PhD Filipino at saka MA in Filipino.
Talagang kumpleto na po para sa lahat ng antas. Ito po, Dr. Lydia, huling-huling tanong na lang talaga. Para po ito sa mga guro at mga magulang siguro. Ito po ay tanong ni Queen Jasmine Sabado. Hello po.
Oh.
How can we engage more young people to use books? Paano raw po ba natin mas mahihikayat ang mga bata na gumamit ng libro, knowing na itong mga batang to ngayon medyo talagang techie, digital. Digital ang gusto.
Yan ang isang problema. Dahil hindi lang naman dito sa Pilipinas, maging sa state, ay problema ng mga guro yan, lalo na itong nagdaan tayo sa online, saka sa COVID pandemic. Kailangan lang ay bigyan natin sila ng mga engaging stories, yung magagandang istorya na angkop sa kanilang edad, sa kanilang interes, at saka sa kanilang mga karanasan. Yun, madami tayo ngayong mabibili. Nakita ko yan, marami rin libro ang Rex na inihanda tungkol sa mga bambata. At siguro, kailangan din naman ng guro na pakita na siya ay magaling din magbasa ng mga librong pambata at magkaroon sila ng isang parte sa kanilang silid-aralan na pwede sila manghiram at magbigay o magpahiram ng mga libro sa kanilang nasa bahay ng mga mag-aaral. So, give and take a book or rent or what do you call it? Pwedeng hiramin ng bata, dalhin uwi. Pwede rin naman siya magbigay ng kanyang aklat na nabasa na sa bahay. So kailangan may exchange sila ng libro at hayaan silang magbasa sa isang araw, sa isang linggo. Kung ang Friday ay para sa pagtataya or assessment na gagawin ng ng DepEd, ang Friday rin ay para sa malayang pagbabasa. Walang tanong, wala ka itatanong. Hayaan mo siyang maupo, pumili ng aklat na gusto nila, magkwentuhan sila tungkol sa binasa nilang aklat. At yun ang kaligayahan ng mga mag-aaral. Na hindi sila laging tatanungin, sino ba ang tauhan, anong ginawa. Kasi nakakahamper minsan sa sa pleasure.
Opo,
Reading
totoo
is
po yan.
is a pleasure activity. At hayaan na hanggang bahay dalhin nila yung gusto nila aklat, magbasa sila, ikwento nila sa kanilang magulang yung kanilang binasa, i-share. Ang mahalaga mag-share. Hindi lang yung sa kanila lang nila tinatago yung kaligayahan nila sa pagbasa ng libro. Ikwento nila, ay naku, maganda na nabasa kong libro. Eto, pakinggan nyo. So that's communication. Tinuturoan mo silang magsalita. So yun ay isang paraan ng pag-uusap at pagsasalita sa wika. Kasi kailangan ngayon ay marunong magsalita at magbasa ang bata. Hindi lamang magsulat. Okay?
Opo. Alam niyo po, maibahagi ko lang po, tama po yung sinabi ninyo. Kasi kami nung bata kami, talagang yung magulang namin, talagang naging mga libro, nandyan lang sa
Oo.
paligid namin. At libre kaming kumuha kahit anong libro gusto naming basahin. Doon po talagang na-develop yung aming pagmamahal sa pagbabasa ng mga libro. Kaya sa mga magulang na nanonood, mga guro, naku po, punuin niyo po yung kwarto ng bata ninyo, ng anak ninyo, ng mga libro. Tama po kayo, Dr. Lydia. Dr. Lydia, ngayon po, ano po ang inyong huling mensahe para sa ating mga manonood bago natin isarado itong ating talakayan?
Para sa mga nakikinig nating mga guro na ang iba ay nag-estudyante ko, ayan na yung hinihiling nyo na hinihintay yung sangguniang aklat na mababasa ng mga guro na magtuturo sa elementary, secondary at tertiarya. Tinupad ko yung pangako ko na bago pagka-retire ko, baka maisulat ko na lahat yung mga panayam ko, mga sinulat ko sa mga magazine, journal, libro, at na pinag-ukulan ng panahon from 2019 to 2022 na panahon ng pandemic ay ginugol ko lahat ng aking mga oras, yung mga libreng oras ko bukod pa sa pagsusum sa mga iba-ibang university sa bansa dahil nagtatalakay ako ng mga kurso sa Pilipino sa iba-ibang university tulad ng UP Cebu, Leyte normal at saka sa Cebu normal. Kaya magagamit niyo yan sapagkat maalaala niyo yung lahat ng ating mga pinag-usapan sa klase at ibibigay niyo rin yan sa kapwa guro. Pwede niyo paregalo sa mga kapwa guro niyo sa Pasko, yung mga naghahanap ng paksa na i-online, kaya paksa na ipa-PowerPoint, ayan na lahat. So lalagyan lang nila yan, kukunin lang nila ang mahalaga, at ipa-PowerPoint nila kung gusto nila sila naman ang mag-lecture. Ngayon, ang payo ko po lamang, kung gagamitin niyo yung aking mga isinulat, lagay niyo lang ang pangalan ko. Wala kayong obligasyon sa akin. Lagay niyo lang ang pangalan ko at kung saan niyo ito kinuha. Sapagkat minsan, dun sa aking mga pagtuturo sa PH at PMA, pag nagpapareport ako, nakukuha nila sa Google, hindi nila alam sa akin pala yun. So, hinahayaan ko sila mag-report ng akin. Word for word pa naman ang report.
Alam na alam nyo. Huli
Ay
agad.
sabi, oo, hindi ko naman pinapansin. Pagkatapos saka ko tinatanong, saan mo ba kinuhang reference yan? So umaamin naman sila na sa Google. So hindi niyo ba alam na akin yan? O hindi lang nilalagay ang pangalan ko siguro dahil binibenta ng ibang site. May balita ako, may mga site na nagbibenta ng references. Kaya nagtatawa na lang kami. Sabi ko, sige, sa susunod ay hanapin niyo yung author, ha? Para hindi
Alam
tayo
niyo po ba, Dr. Lydia, yan po ang sinabi rin ni Dr. Florianne Jimenez kanina sa kanyang mensahe sa lahat ng ating manonood. Napaka-importante ang citation.
Yeah.
Kailangan lagi niyong isa-cite ang inyong mga resources.
Kaya nga, paano kung nga teacher mo nga yung nagpa-report? Dahil ako naman ay mabait din sa ganyan. Alam ko naman na madaling hanapin niya sa Google at saka sa ano. Pero as a graduate student, we should be responsible for citing authors.
Yan. Narinig nyo ng lahat. Galing na kay Dr. Lydia Liwanag at of course, pati na rin kay Dr. Florianne Jimenez kanina. Para maging isang responsible digital citizen, wag na wag kakalimutan na i-cite ang inyong resources. Ayan po, nako, maraming salamat po sa inyong dedikasyon at napakagandang pagbabahagi ng inyong saloobin. Ma'am Lydia, mabuhay po kayo. Maraming salamat, Dr. Lydia.
Maraming ring salamat po sa pagbibigay ng pagkakataon ng Rex na ma-launch natin ang tornado online. At marami sigurong nakikinig sa inyong YouTube at saka sa Facebook. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. At sana ay magamit nyo ang aking aklat at maibahagi ito sa iba pang mga guro at iba pang mga mag-aaral sa ating bansa. Marami pong salamat.
Maraming salamat at buhay po kayo, Dr. Lydia Buenafe Liwanag. Once again, everyone, the author of Pagtuturo Mula sa Puso. Thank you so much, Dr. Lydia Buenafe Liwanag. There you have it. There you have it, ating mga edukampiyon. Talagang siksik na siksik ang libro Pagtuturo Mula sa Puso. But right now, up next, we have one of the authors of Technology for Teaching and Learning 1. Up next, our author is a Doctor of Education, Major Instructional Systems and Resources Management from the University of San Jose, Recoletos, a faculty member of the University of Eastern Philippines and a director of the university's Lawang campus. Our dear educampions, let's all welcome on our virtual stage, Dr. Renato S. Baliado.
Good morning, Ms. Robin.
Good morning.
Good morning to our
Dr.
viewers,
Renato.
our listeners.
We have, I think, on the phone right now, Dr. Renato Baliado.
Yes po. Good morning once again.
We are still getting in touch with Dr. Renato. But meanwhile, to all of our viewers, all of our educampions, what are you waiting for? You know what? We are rewarding and giving prizes away to the most active viewers that we're going to have this morning. All you have to do is send to us, type in your questions, your comments, your suggestions, your clarifications to our speakers in our comments section, live on our Facebook live stream, and of course, meron din tayo sa ating YouTube channel. Also, sa ating Facebook page, please keep on reacting. Press the like button, send in your heart reactions para naman ma-feel namin na talagang nandito kayo at kasama natin ang ating fellow Educampions all over the world, tuned in to us, watching right now with all of us. Okay, I think Dr. Balyado is right here already. Dr.
Hello,
Balyado,
Miss Robin. Miss
good morning.
Robin. Good morning, Miss Robin.
We are getting in touch with Dr. Balyado
Hello, Miss
via
Robin.
phone patch right now.
Hello, Miss
I'm
Robin.
trying to check.
Hello, Miss Robin. Hello, Miss Robin.
Dr. Balyado?
Hello, Miss Robin. Miss Robin. Good
Hello?
morning. Good morning, Miss Robin.
All right, we are just sorting a few audio glitches right here. But to all of you tuned in, again, don't forget to stay tuned up until the end of our day two to be able to receive your e-certificates for our 2-day webinar.
Hello, Miss Robin.
All right. I think we are being heard right on Facebook and on YouTube, but we're checking right now, right here in our Zoom room. Dr. Balyado, are you here? Can you
Hello,
hear
Miss
me?
Robin. Miss Robin. Hello. Hello, Miss Robin.
Okay. So we are trying to get in touch again with Dr. Balyado via our phone patch as we get into our second book for this morning, which is The Technology for Teaching and Learning 1, as authored by Dr. Renato S. Balyado. All right. We are sorting things out. Again, can I see right now? You know what? We have a lot of teachers, a lot of college students, and of course, we also have our parents tuned in to our live streams on Facebook and on YouTube. So, if you are a teacher, can you kindly give us a heart react naman sa ating comment section? We have just heard from Dr. Lydia Liwanag on her book, Pagtuturo Mula sa Puso. Right now, we are going to fix Dr. Balyado's audio. So let's get to our next author. For the meantime, next up, we have the author of Fundamentals in Lodging Operations. Our next author for this morning, we have a professor at the Center for Hospitality Management of the Manila Titana Colleges and the College of Tourism and Hospitality Management of the University of Santo Tomas. She is the Director of Operation of Hotel Flores in Palawan and Hotel Sofia in Boracay. In addition, she is former president of the Tourism Educators and Movers of the Philippines, Mima Ropa chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Educampions, to talk about her book, Fundamentals in Lodging Operations. Send your heart reacts, please, for Miss Sarah Monzon po.
Good morning, Miss Robin.
Good morning, Miss Sarah. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I'm thankful because my internet connection is working with me well right now. Good morning to all our viewers in our Facebook Live and YouTube.
Yes. You know what, Miss Sarah? I just want to know, are you in Palawan right now or Boracay?
I am in Manila. I just
In
got back from
Manila.
Palawan the other day.
All right. Miss Sarah, we are going to deep dive into your book, Fundamentals in Lodging Operations. Can you provide all of us an example of the challenges that you faced in the industry that you mentioned sa inyong libro?
Okay. Of course, there's a lot of challenges faced
Mm-hmm.
in the industry. So if you check my book, It can be found in chapter 10. These are the common problems in the hotel sector, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a recommended solution.
Mm-hmm.
This includes the shift in customer demands, or what we call the change in guest expectations,
Mm-hmm.
the cash flow, inflation, and competition. The textbook also provided some workable solutions. After reading the chapter, or each chapter, one of the activities is to look online for more typical problems that are similar to what has been presented, to entice the mind of the students and to think strategically. Because as we all know, new problems and difficulties will inevitably arise in day-to-day operations.
There you go. So, Miss Sarah, how does your book aid in academics in having in-depth discussions on the subjects that you covered in your book?
Okay. Apart from the main topics per chapter, at the end of it, the textbook gives the reader a concise summary or chapter highlights.
Mm-hmm.
This includes a relevant description of the topic as well as its overall perspective. In addition, there are learning tasks in the form of vocabulary, fit into the industry, to test the analytical views of the researcher or of the readers rather. And I also included the management in action. This one is to test the soft skills of the students related to group collaborations.
Oh, so I just want to know, Miss Sarah, so your book is catered more onto the students, or can the professionals also use your book as a learning resource?
Um, my book can also be used by practitioners, because it has the chapter from chapter 1 to 15. You can see there the theoretical understanding, the applications, and it explains the importance of fundamental operations, hotel operations. This will not only educate the readers, but will also provide a clear view of the whole hospitality industry.
Yes, speaking of hotel operations, Miss Sarah, how does your book describe the significance of, basic hotel operations in the hospitality sector?
Okay, of course, in operation, excellence is the key to success in hospitality industry. So by giving a comprehensive collection of concepts from chapter 1 to 15, the theoretical understanding, application, and all the fundamentals in operations. It showcased the importance of every department of hotels. This also, the students also, of course, need to comprehend how applying excellence in the hotel operations results in, of course, satisfied customers, better employees, and increased investor returns.
So all of those will be is already covered by your book, Fundamentals in Lodging Operations. Speaking of our students who are watching us right now, Miss Sarah, how do you think your book will help the students relate and level up their knowledge in your industry?
Yeah, similar to what had Dr. Liwanag mentioned a while ago. So by asking them relevant questions. So every chapter of the book, there are assessments, assessing their prior knowledge and drawing links to their interest. And I have added elements in my textbook that help students connect to the subject, to what they have already learned. I want to, of course, encourage the students to work hard while being brave, of course, in the industry, because we came from pandemic, and hopeful. Especially nowadays, tourism is all again going back to its normal. And also, students' experiences are enhanced, and their minds are honed through the activities and assessments. And reading my textbook has several advantages for students. They will
Mhm.
learn more and get better remembering things while increasing their vocabulary as well.
Oh, you know what, Miss Sarah, we have one question from our online viewer, Diane Kennedy. we have a lot of students undergoing internships, especially in your industry. Does your book cover meaningful activities for those undergoing internships?
Yes, because at the end of every chapter, there are activities that will require the students to do practical exercises. So, and in every chapter, there are different departments that are being explained. It is being connected to the real scenarios or cases that I experience in the industry.
So we all know you've had an extensive experience when it comes to hotel operations. You are the director of operation of Hotel Flores in Palawan, very beautiful, and Hotel Sofia in Boracay. You're also the president of the Tourism Educators and Movers of the Philippines. With that extensive experience that you have, I'm sure all of our viewers would also love to know what motivated you to write this book.
Actually, I've been in the industry since 2007 and I started
Wow.
teaching since 2014.
Mm,
Yes, and I used to teach subjects like club and resort management, front office. So from then on, I was motivated to enhance my modules every year with a more appropriate sequence or flow of topics as needed in the industry. Furthermore, because I have been working in the industry since 2007 nga, um, unfortunately, there was no updated existing book of the same title
mhm.
before. So this inspired me to write a fundamentals of lodging operations to equip the students with the relevant topics as needed by the industry and aligned it to the specifications of the new curriculum by CHED.
Oh. So, Miss Sarah, I think, maybe there are other books that are the same in the market right now. How does your textbook differ from other books that are available in the same field?
Oh, the textbooks is written based on theoretical knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
principles, developed skills, and of course, firsthand experience of yours truly. It includes lessons that are essential for students and professionals who are in the hospitality industry and are seeking quality information that can expound their knowledge and broaden their horizon.
So,
Although there are few books, there
uh-huh.
are few books with similar titles. This one stands out for its rich combination of the, as I said, theoretical principles along with the real world examples, online tests, and practical applications. These are collaborative activities. The assessment are collaborative activities which are intended to promote as well teamwork. Of course, teamwork is very important in the hospitality industry, and then the soft skills necessary to become a professional.
Oh, wow. So it's really packed. We had
Yes,
one question. It's good that you mentioned that you have tests in the
yes,
textbook because we have one question coming from Kurt Firks. Sabi niya, that's great. Is there a memory test in the book?
yes. I have included
Oh.
memory tests. Like there are questions that will ask you what have you learned from each chapter, because it's always best to always to ask students what have they learned, and again, I also make sure that they also incorporate their
Mm-hmm.
insight and personal opinions about the topic discussed.
Oh, okay. So, Kurt Fuchs, thank you for your question.
Thank you, Kurt.
So you have memory tests. There are several tests also. One question from RV Abigail: are the activities of the said book can be integrated towards other fields? Or is it solely for hospitality industry?
For it can be also because service there are so many industry that provide service, not only hospitality.
Mm.
Perhaps you can use some of the activities given and then apply it to a different industry.
Oh, okay. So since we were talking about the students, the professionals who will be benefiting from it, Who do you believe will benefit the most from using this textbook? Are these the college students or pwede ba siya na yung mga interested lang sa lodging, sa hotel management?
Thank you for that question. Actually, when I was writing this book, I took into account the professors because,
Mm.
if you're teaching, the sequence or the flow of the topic should be properly arranged.
Mhm.
So I took into account the professors, the practitioners, and of course, the students of hospitality and tourism. This book will be helpful for first and second year students taking hospitality and tourism courses. Additionally, if students will purchase this textbook, they can continue to use this as a reference up to their senior school or senior year. I mean, the material, the tests and activities, whether practical or online, will also serve as a guide for hospitality and tourism faculty as well as the practitioners.
Oh, okay. We have one here question from Reyes Joy. Is this book applicable as well for senior high school ABM strand?
For ABM, that's a business. Yes, yes, because part of this I have discussed the revenue management, no?
Mm-hmm.
Because in hospitality we really didn't do need to make sure that the business is growing. So part of it is revenue management. There are also costing, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So there are different aspect of the book that could help ABM students also.
Okay, so since we're talking about the different topics of your book, Fundamentals in Lodging Operations, we have one question from Diane Kennedy. Does your book cover not only one subject, one topic in HRM, but rather can it be a great resource as well for several HRM subjects?
I believe so because of I covered the different departments of the hotel. So, like for example, in hospitality management courses, they have a separate course or subject which is a front office. No, there's also F&B. So they can use these textbooks as reference as well.
Okay, so Miss Sarah, what can you give us like a key takeaway or skills that your readers can expect to gain from reading your book and studying your book?
Okay, for the key takeaway, the future readers of the textbook Fundamentals and Lodging Operation will take away from it not only the knowledge from each chapter, but also improved soft skills from the exercise given every chapter.
Oh, okay. Next one. Wow, we have a lot of questions coming from our viewers right now. This one is from Maria Paz Romanos Bakuta. How is the book operationally aligned with the current new normal in the hospitality industry?
With the new normal, because there we have online, right? We have online, a blended online and face to face. So what I did is I included online exercises wherein I encourage students to do their own research as well. Apart from giving the topic per chapter, every end of the chapter, there are a part of the assessment is that they will do online, and then faculties are also guided on what activities to give online, either online or face to face.
Oh, okay. So I think we have a lot of students of HRM here. We have Sharon Lumanglas asking, ma'am, is your book in line with the training regulations for TESDA?
It's in line also with the training and also with CHED. But with the specifics of the training in TESDA, I think you have to get specific topic when it comes to what course or subject you want to take with TESDA. But that book or textbook is also equipped with some principles that are being discussed in TESTA.
Okay. So, speaking of the hospitality industry, Kurt Fuchs is asking, is there a section on hiring the right employees? Is it just all about lodging operations? Or meron din ba siyang section when it comes to employees, hiring the right ones?
Yes, yes, because that's one of my problem in the industry. At first, well, applicants will give their best foot forward, but
Mm-hmm.
after 2 months, you'll see if they are really competent. So there are tips also for hiring. And also, apart from that, I also included traits of being a good leader. So they can also get some tips from there.
All right. And one more from Joy Marie Tuyak. Are there any specific chapters in your textbook or sections that focus on customer experience, guest engagement, or managing guest complaints and feedback? Wow, I think it's a very, the very thing that you all experience in your industry. It's all about customer service,
Yes,
sometimes customer complaints.
yes, 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 yes. A lot. We
A
we receive
lot.
complaints every day. That's normal. And part of the book, I have touched some of that, so I can give some tips also for the students on how to deal with complaints, especially uh, uh, guests are coming from different culture, from different nationalities. So it's a tip for students on how to handle customer complaints.
Ma'am, you know what? Since you're already here with us, can you give? I'm sure we have a lot of questions coming in, and we have a lot of HRM students who are also tuned in to us right now. Can you give them maybe just one basic tip when it comes to handling customer complaints?
Okay. Of course, when you receive customer complaints based on my experience, the first thing you should do is to empathize.
Mm-hmm.
You do not answer back. That's a no-no in the hospitality industry. Of course, you have to have the patience, and then empathize them. Make sure that you acknowledge or address their complaints. And one of the effective way of handling complaints also is by giving them the feedback that you have addressed and you have corrected those employees who
Mm-hmm.
who made some mistake. That's effective. You give feedback. Okay, that for example, you receive a complaint regarding the service of a front office.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi, sa front office, it's delicate. One wrong ngiwe, mapaganyan ka na, that's a major
Yes.
complaint, right? So, we have to make sure that you empathize with the guest, and that you really have to correct also the employee and then give them feedback. And
All
they will
right.
feel better because their complaints were addressed.
Oh, okay. There you guys have it. Take down notes on that, especially for our HRM students. You're going to experience that in the real world.
Yes.
Now, Miss Sarah, speaking of today's learning landscape, how will your textbook complement the existing digital educational learning tools? Because right now, we're doing blended learning. How will it
Yes.
complement?
Yes, if classes are delivered online, instructors can use the management in action activity each lesson to encourage students to learn more by researching on the suggested activities. And these evaluations contains online exercises where students' digital literacy can be measured.
Okay. And lastly, what makes your book important to students studying hospitality?
Um, Fundamentals of Lodging Operations textbook plays an important role in the industry of hospitality management, since it offers insights into the sector and numerous traits of successful leaders in the hospitality industry. It also covers a broad range of topics from history to various departments, including revenue management, and trends that needs to be discussed with hospitality students. Managing a business or performing a job in the industry can assist also professionals and students in understanding the opportunities and challenges faced by the sector. The textbook can also be used to stay up to date on the most recent trends and industry best practices, as well as to spark fresh ideas. Additionally, it's crucial to remember that the industry is always changing. So staying up to date with the recent textbook is essential.
All right, there you have it, Miss Sarah. Just to wrap up your segment, one final message to everybody watching us right now, especially our HRM students who are tuned in and can't wait to finally get a hand of your book, Fundamentals in Lodging Operations.
Okay, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Rex Education for giving me this opportunity to publish my Fundamentals of Lodging Operations textbook. I can affirm that Rex Education has continued to produce books of the highest caliber over the years while upholding its high standard. My textbook underwent a variety of editing steps. That's why I feel confident and quite proud of this work. I can relate to the topic discussed by our esteemed speaker, Dr. Florianne Jimenez. Thank you for all the relevant tips with proper citation, of course, my dear students and educators, to avoid plagiarism and, of course, be responsible digital citizenship. With fundamentals in lodging operation textbook, I hope that students, professors, and practitioners will gain more knowledge, be productive, and get more memorable experiences. Gaya rin po ng sabi ni Dr. Lydia, reading is a pleasure. So to all my co-educators, let's encourage pleasure reading. If you need me, of course, you may get in touch with Rex Education. Again, thank you and congratulations to the organizer and Rex Education. Thank you also to our viewers in Facebook Live and YouTube. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. God bless everyone.
Maraming salamat, Miss Sarah Monzon po. Round of applause, everybody, for Miss Sarah. Thank you so much, Miss Sarah Monzon po, for sharing with us your book, Fundamentals in Lodging Operations. There you guys have it. You know what? We have two more authors up next. Right now, let's all welcome once again one of the authors of Technology for Teaching and Learning 1. Again, our next author is a Doctor of Education, major in Instructional Systems and Resources Management from the University of San Jose Recoletos. He is also a faculty member of the University of Eastern Philippines and the director of the university's Lawang campus. Our fellow Ducampions, let's all welcome once more Dr. Ronato Estbaliado. Good morning, Dr. Baliado.
Good morning, Miss Robin.
Wow, now I can
Am
hear
I
you really
audible?
clearly. Yes, very, very crisp and clear.
Yes. Miss Robin, I opted not to have my video
Oh,
because of the very intermittent signal because of the bad weather in our
oh,
place. So I hope the listeners, the audience would understand.
yes,
And
definitely, we do.
good morning to all listeners and the audience. And good morning to my fellow authors of Rex and to the staff of Rex.
Good
Good
morning, Dr.
morning.
Renato. I hope you are staying safe despite the bad weather we're all experiencing right now.
Yes po. Yes po. Awa ng Diyos.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, it's good to hear that you are doing safe and well right now. Dr. Renato, let's go into a deep dive into your book, Technology for Teaching and Learning 1. Dr. Baliado, we all want to know what inspired you to write this textbook. Were there any specific experiences or challenges that motivated you to finally create this resource material for everybody?
Yes po, Miss Robin. Actually, this is my second in Rex.
Oh,
I had my first book under Rex in 2012 with the basic concepts in educational technology. With the new curriculum for teacher education, the educational technology subject was renamed into technology and teaching and learning. So that's why it inspired me, according to Ma'am Lydia a while ago, during the pandemic, she did her work. Pareho din po kami ng experience. Bali, yung lagi kaming work from home, that was the most appropriate time that I was able to finalize together with my three other co-authors the book on technology and teaching and learning.
Oh, so for this one, so knowing that this is already your second book, how does this textbook differ from the other books that are also available in the same field? What unique perspectives or content does it offer that sets it apart from the rest of the books that are available as well in the market?
Siguro po, not really to brag, but it's about the content. In the CHED, our first consideration was the syllabus provided by CHED. But because we should set more for the minimum, dinagdagan namin yung mga concepts, those concepts that are also applicable to teaching and learning and also related to the concepts that are written or detailed in the CHED prototype syllabus.
So this book is particularly for the benefit of college students, am I right, Dr. Balyado?
Yes, yes po. Pwede rin po siya sa mga teachers na nagtuturo ng TTL sa college po. At saka pwede rin po siya sa graduate students kasi I was able to handle a subject on technology in educational management. So some, if not majority of the concepts, are also applicable to technology in educational management for graduate students.
Oh, so basically it's for all students. Lahatin na natin. Dr. Balyado, tama po ba?
Yes po. Yes po, Miss Robin.
Perfect. Now, I also want to know, this is coming from a question from Diane Kennedy. Dr. Balyado, can you give us a few highlights of this book?
Okay, so the highlights of the book, siguro yung ano lang, it talks about in the first chapter about ICT, the basic concepts of ICT, and then we have ICT policies and teacher standards. We have the theories in instructional design, wherein we apply ICT. We have the various ICT resources, the social, ethical, and legal responsibilities in using ICT and ICT as used particularly in teaching. So those are the highlights of the topics in the book.
Okay. So speaking of this book being catered specifically for students, so right now, Dr. Balyado, I'm sure you also know this, we are into blended learning for our students. Meron
Yes
tayong
po.
face-to-face, we also have the online learning. Now, I'm sure everybody wants to know, in today's learning landscape, how will your textbook complement this existing digital educational learning tools?
Okay po. So sa blended learning, yung offline, of course, if they have the copy of the book, then they could follow the syllabus. Pero po, yung mga assessment tasks, yung may mga exercises po tayo sa bawat chapter, which we will know, the students will know, the learners will know from online resources. So meron dong mga topics that are relatable sa online. Kaya pwedeng magamit in online setting and offline setting.
So speaking of online setting, Dr. Balyado, how would you support your co-professors in teaching this subject using your textbook in their classes? Do you have like a professor's kit?
Yes po, the Rex team encourage us, but required us to have the professor's kit, and the professor's kit is so detailed that really want to teach the technology for teaching and learning will really be very easy for the teachers to teach the subject because of the very detailed professor's kit.
Now, very interesting question. Next one from Joshua Casinilio. Can we make use po your book, Dr. Balyado, for reviewing para sa LET?
Yes po. We assured po that after every chapter, there are items which are in MC or multiple choice format, which could be used as practice exercises for those who are taking the licensure exam for teachers.
Oh, okay. So there you have it, everyone. It is a very valuable resource, not only for students, but also for teachers and for everyone who are watching us right now. So, right now, Dr.
Yes
Balyado,
po.
as we wrap up your segment, do you have a final message to everyone who's watching us right now?
Okay. Siguro for the future teachers, here is one book which could very much help you if you just consider buying. So this book will really help you not only prepare for being technology teachers, but also for review for the licensure exam for teachers. For the teachers who will be handling the subject,
Mhm.
pero hindi naman ganoon ka-techy, pwede kayong mag-aral and this would be a good guide for you teachers and of course for the graduate students as well. So thank you po sa Rex for having this because actually this was the first publication. Rex, I have not encountered this kind of activity during my first publication. So
Uh-huh.
I am very much overwhelmed with this activity of Rex, and I really find the value of having the materials presented to an audience.
There you have it. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat, Dr.
Welcome. Thank
Renato
you, Miss
Vallado.
Robin.
Stay safe, all right? Once again,
Thank you po.
thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Dr. Ronato Balyado, for writing the book Technology for Teaching and Learning One. Once again, we are so excited to see all of our professors and future professors use different tools in making their classes more interactive and more engaging. Again, maraming salamat. That was Dr. Balyado with us live via phone patch. All right, once again, everyone, our dear the Campeons, let's give it up for our first three authors. We had Dr. Lydia Bueno Feliwanag for Pagtuturo Mula sa Puso, Dr. Renato Balyado for Technology for Teaching and Learning One, and Ms. Sara Monzon Po for Fundamentals in Lodging Operations. Now, everyone, can we all give them a virtual round of applause? Heart reactions and like reactions, all right? Now, our dear viewers, we highly encourage all of you to share your thoughts and comments on this live event. You can express your feelings again by reacting using our reaction buttons available by sharing your comments and takeaways in the comments section of our YouTube and Facebook live streams. We will be reading a few comments from Facebook and YouTube as we go through the whole program this morning. But right now, let's continue on with today's program. Our next author is an associate professor of tourism at the University of the Philippines Asian Institute of Tourism. He has authored four tourism books under Rex Education and is engaged in formulating a master plan for the island of Samar, leading a project for sustainable livelihood in four more remote island communities in northeastern Mindanao. Now, his most recent activities are in the areas of tourism regulation and over tourism in Boracay. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Ducampions, please welcome right now the author of Tourism Policy Planning and Development, Dr. Real Cruz.
Thank you very much, Robin.
Hi.
Good morning to everyone in Zoom or on Zoom as well as on Facebook.
Good morning, Dr. Real. How are you doing, sir?
Ah, medyo puyat po pero kailangan po nating magtrabaho.
Medyo puyat, but we're so happy to have you here with us, especially on a weekend, on a Saturday morning. Dr. Real, let's go into a deep dive on your book, Tourism Policy Planning and Development. We all want to know, Dr. Cruz, what prompted you to write this textbook? Were there any specific experiences or challenges that motivated you to create this resource for all of our students and professors?
Yeah, of course, Robin. This is not my first book with Rex, as you have
Hmm.
mentioned. Actually, I've written about five
Five, yes.
or six books,
Wow.
all under Rex. And the first one came out in 2014. Okay, anyway, the reason why I wrote this book is that, first of all, the reference books available for this topic are mostly foreign sourced, and being so, they are quite expensive. So
Hmm.
we wanted something that is within reach of most students and educators in the Philippines. So our books are very competitively priced, no? I think you can find it on online shopping platforms for less than
Uh-huh.
300. And this is about maybe one third or one fourth of most books that come from other countries. And of course, the context is Philippines. And the author is a Filipino with experience in tourism planning and development. Um, my comparative strength over the other authors who are also based in the Philippines, that I am relatively older than them with more
With
experience
more
in this
experience.
particular field. I've done about seven or so tourism planning related projects at the local government and national government levels. So I can write with some authority on it. Of course, I'm not a perfect, I'm not the guru of this tourism planning field, but at least my writing can be substantiated by my own observations and experiences. Mm.
You know what, with your
Yeah.
extensive experience and all of the books that you've already authored, I think you are the best person to write about this book, Tourism Policy Planning and Development. You know what, Dr. Real, I think we have a lot more books that are also available in the market. We'd also like to know, how does your textbook differ from other books that are also available in the same field that you have? What are the unique perspectives or content that does it offer?
Well, basically, if you have read some of the other books, they're mostly theoretical.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is a combination of theoretical as well as technical skills, like how do you really do assessment, for example? How do you make a tourism plan adopted by a local government unit? So I've used many sources or references produced by the Department of Tourism, and these are readily available. But unfortunately, they're not being used by our local tourism officers and some other agencies that are involved in tourism planning and development. So I sort of made these concepts, these references made by JICA and DOT accessible to a larger audience. But of course, I added a lot of my own perspectives on tourism planning and development. Let me add also that sorry about the dogs.
Oh, it's
Okay,
okay.
so this is the problem with online platform.
We have our furry friends joining us as well. It's
Okay,
all
so
right, Dr.
anyway,
Cruz.
even though we have digital sources, a hardbound copy still has its use, particularly because it is much more affordable, it's portable, you don't have to have any internet, and you can highlight it more comfortably than with digital sources. And if you lose it, maybe you'll feel bad for a few minutes, but not with that laptop.
Hmm.
So it's much more affordable and even dispensable, portable, and it's very practical, no, for students and teachers alike. Hmm.
Dr. Cruz, earlier you mentioned that this book can be used by our local tourism officers. We
Yes.
also want to know, who do you believe will benefit the most from using your textbook? Is it the college students or the professionals that we have in the field, or both?
Well, when we were writing, when we say we, that means myself and Rex. When we were
Mhm.
writing this book, we had our target audiences in mind, and that include the teachers, the students, no? And there are more than 500 higher educational institutions with tourism programs all over the Philippines. And also the tourism officers. We have about 2,000 local government units, and many of the tourism officers have no prior experience with tourism planning. So this is a very handy reference for them, especially the ones who have just been designated
Mhm.
as a tourism officer by their mayors. So these are the key people that we are targeting for this book.
Oh,
Hmm.
and Sir Cruz, speaking of the tourism professionals that we already have in the field who you are targeting for your book, this is one question that's coming from Joy Marie Tuyak. What is the overall reputation and credibility of the book among tourism professionals, policymakers, and researchers in the field?
Well, that's not for me to to say, no, because I don't know who actually bought the book, but
Mm-hmm.
I asked a very respected professor uh, about how she feels about the book, and she says that it's a very easy to use book and very easy to understand. So she didn't mention any flaws, perhaps
Wow,
because
that's good.
she didn't want me to be hurt. But at least from her perspective, it's something that can be useful for a professor of her rank and reputation. So at least that gives me hope or confidence, no, in the writing that I'm doing.
This
Okay.
one is coming from, again, Diane Kennedy. Diane Kennedy's asking, are you planning to have it as an ebook? Now, Dr. Cruz, I think Rex is offering this for to be converted to an ebook for what, 1 week. Am I right? I think I heard that from Dean Danny yesterday, that if you want to have this book converted into an ebook, you can just reach out to Rex and they can convert it right away into an ebook for a fee. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. I think the sales department would know because there's a bigger market out there through the digital platform.
Mm-hmm.
And since we submit these manuscripts in digital format, it's very easily
Oh.
converted into digital format as well by Rex. But to prevent, the unscrupulous duplication of such digital copies, Rex has devised a certain way to monitor who actually buys, and they give some permit, no? Maybe with unique codes or something,
Codes,
and it's
yes.
only based on one laptop per copy, so you cannot really distribute it. That's what I have in mind, no, when they were discussing about the digital platform.
You know what? I think it's a very nice initiative, very strong initiative from Rex Education to
Yeah,
also protect their authors. Because early this year, we launched the anti-plagiarism campaign
yeah,
that is spearheaded by the team of Rex Education. It was an organization of a lot of our publishers that we have in the country. And I'm pretty sure that with Rex Education, you are all safe. They are taking care of you, their authors. They're always taking care of you for your materials, never to be duplicated and, suffer from this plagiarism
yeah,
by other sectors. Now,
yeah.
so Dr. Cruz, we'd also love to know what are the key takeaways or skills that your readers can expect from studying your book.
Well,
Main takeaways.
essentially, the book is very easy to understand, and I've actually infused it with some suggestions on how to actually develop their locations for tourism purposes. So they will have insights, no, actual examples on how to do, for example, a resort, no, so that they comply with the regulations and make their resorts or their tourism destinations more sustainable and maybe even resilient, which is a buzzword these days. So it's not just concepts, no, it's not just pure concepts, which are good for quizzes, but not in practical life. So this book is something that they can buy and keep with them and use it even when they take up masters, even when they work in the field already. So it's not a one-time examination thing that after you have reviewed it, you basically throw away. So this is something that you can keep maybe for your future tourism careers, whether in private or public sector.
And last question, Dr. Cruz. So
Mm,
we are into blended learning. How would
mm.
you support professors in teaching this subject using your textbook in their classes, whether it be blended learning or face to face? Do you also have a professor's kit, Dr. Cruz?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, Rex has a habit of spoiling the educators, no? Because when they buy the book, it's actually a package, no? We
Uh-huh.
provide them with the syllabus. Uh, if I may say so, I was one of the first authors, if not the first author, to actually come up with the syllabus for the book. So the syllabus was based on the book that I wrote before, which was the original tourism planning and development book. And so teachers who don't have time because we know that they are loaded no, with 21 units or 24 units, and some even have 40 unit load because they're doing part-time in many, many universities. So they don't have much time to prepare all these learning materials or teaching materials. So Rex, when you buy a book from Rex, we support you with the syllabus, with the exercises, with the quizzes, and the answers are also provided to you. No? But of course, you don't share it with your students. Otherwise, they will all have one no? or perfect grades. So this is really intended for the BC educator. So you learn by teaching it, no, and that goes with me. That also applies to me. When I write something, I do a lot of research, and therefore I also learn a lot. So I think I would like to think that my fellow educators would have the same experience. So, saan ka pa, 'di ba? Nandiyan na lahat at hindi ka na maghahanap pa. Okay.
I
'Yun lang
love
po.
that. I love that you mentioned, Dr. Cruz, that Rex has a habit of spoiling
Yes.
all of our learners.
Mm.
So all of
Yes.
these materials are just readily available para sa ating kapwa mga edukampions. Now,
Apo.
Dr. Cruz, if I can just read this one reaction that's coming from Facebook. This is from Menchi Sambaan Zamaro. It's amusing that Rex Education was able to produce homegrown tools, homegrown books with reliable and great authors to help both the educators and, of course, all of our students. So
Yeah.
kudos, Rex. And
Uh,
one more,
mm.
Dr. Cruz from Facebook too. This is coming from Tin Datok. We are blessed with Filipino authors today because of one similar motivation of their books. It is for reaching the fellow teachers and the learners, having one goal to promote the learning materials for the Filipinos. So, salute to all of you, authors and Rex Education. Nako,
Mhm.
Dr.
Thank
Cruz,
you. Thank you for
talagang
that.
ang dami na tuwang-tuwa sa inyong mga authors under Rex Education. So right now, Dr. Cruz, as we wrap up your segment, final message to all of those who are watching us right now.
Okay, of course, this is self-serving, but I wish that everyone will buy legitimate copies of the book. Your small support for fellow authors as well, no? Because if you don't support us through your patronage, then there will be no authors left, no? Because there are very few Filipino writers for academic purposes. So thank you for patronizing and not copying it or xeroxing it and distributing it to your students. Ask your students to buy. It's not very much. It's just the value of 2 cups of coffee at a big coffee shop. So just spare a few pesos for this learning material. And to Rex, no? I'm very proud to be affiliated or connected with Rex because the level of editing and publishing of Rex has really, uh, improved a lot over the years. And our fellow educators, would actually share this observation. No? So we're very proud to be writing for Rex, and I hope Rex will continue to support our fellow educators and their authors. Okay, so that's it from an author to the publisher, uh, from the heart's message. Okay. Thank you, Robin.
That's right. Anything para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa mamamayan, Rex Education will always be there to support all of our homegrown Filipino authors. Maraming salamat din po, Dr. Real Cruz. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen to our learners, lalo na po sa pagdating sa tourism development ng ating bansa. Of course, with the help of your book. Talagang nakaka-excite. Once again, thank you very much, Dr. Real Cruz, everybody.
Maraming salamat din po.
Maraming salamat, Dr. Real Cruz, on his book, Tourism Policy Planning and Development. Now, you know what? We have one more reaction from Facebook. I'm so excited to be reading all of your reactions and messages for all of us. This is coming from Jano Cornell. Ang ganda ng balasa ng ating mga authors. It simply shows how wide Rex Education can go in terms of giving us learning solutions. From Filipino to hospitality to education courses, will stay for more. Maraming salamat, Jana Cornell, for keeping tuned with our webinar this morning. Wow, everybody, you are still here with us. Now, we are down to our last two more book titles. Just like yesterday, we also have an author here with us who published two books for our higher education students. And I'm pretty sure this one will likewise be full of knowledge, wisdom, and insights. Kaya naman, let's get to know our next author. Miss Maria Gladys Galinato Tomas is a part-time professor at the Manila Titana Colleges, San Beda College Alabang, and Assumption College San Lorenzo Makati, where she teaches foreign language subjects. Take note: French, Spanish, Nihongo, German, and Italian. A lot! Kaya niyo yun, everyone? Yes, she's also a member of the Association des Professeurs de Français of Philippines, or the APFP, and the founder and executive director of MGGT Language Tutorial Center. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Decampions, to talk about her books Foreign Language 1 and 2, let's all welcome Miss Maria Gladys Galinato Tomas. Hi, Miss Maria.
Hi, good morning everyone. Bonjour à tous. Hello,
Bonjour.
Robin, salut.
I'm going to try that. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Wow.
Oui.
Miss Maria Gladys Tomas, a
Hi.
lot of foreign languages that you are teaching. But, I'm going to talk to you in English right now.
Okay.
Miss
Okay.
Maria, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. Yesterday I attended the graduation at Manila Titana Colleges.
Ooh,
Yes.
congratulations.
Of my students, not mine.
Akala ko of you eh,
Okay,
but
no.
congratulations to your
To
students.
my students.
I'm sure it's the graduation season ngayon sa ating academics.
Yes.
Congratulations to
Exactly.
all of our educampions who are already graduating this year. But right now, Miss Gladys, I want to
Yes.
take a deep dive on your first
Okay.
book. It's Foreign Language 1 and 2. Right now, let's talk about your Foreign Language 1, or the Basic French for Hospitality Management and Tourism 1.
Mhm.
Now, Miss Gladys, I'm sure everybody also wants to know, what is the essence of French language in the field of tourism and hospitality management? I think, as always, it's always been French, di ba po ba? Always
Yeah.
French ang foreign language na laging tinuturo sa
Okay.
HRM.
Okay. Well, all of the foreign languages in the hospitality management are useful. But for me, French is the most useful to learn. Why? Because it is the international language of culinary arts, culture, fashion, and travel.
Hmm? Hmm.
As you all know, majority of the gastronomic terminologies came from French. We often hear hospitality management students saying mise en place in their culinary classes before doing their cooking demonstration. Other words like garde manger, sous chef, maître d'hôtel are among the common words we often hear. And in order to acquire proper pronunciation, a course in French language will help them explore the meaning of these words and appreciate the usage of these words in their learning journey. So that's
Oh,
it.
so it's always the French terms na talagang ginagamit siya.
Yes, it's the
Oh,
most useful.
it's the most used language when it
Yeah.
comes to this industry. Now,
Mhm.
Miss Gladys, the goal of language learning is to develop the four macro skills, which is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We all want to know, how will your book enhance these four macro skills of the students?
Well, the book contains dialogues, spills, presentations, and scripts happening in an actual workforce scenario. And this would enhance the students' listening, reading, and speaking skills. Through reading aloud, the students will be able to improve their pronunciation. So not only
Oh,
pronunciation, because in the dialogues, they will also develop their listening and reading comprehension by asking them some questions based on what they have read and heard. Furthermore, oral activities will enable them to create a dialogue based on a given situation stated on my activities. Then, for writing exercises, short notes, and emails will help them organize their thoughts, present themselves well. So that's it.
ah. So it's really all about developing the four macro skills
Yes,
of the
because that's
student.
what language teaching is all about. We have to assess the four macro skills.
Oh, very comprehensive and extensive for all of our educampions, all of our learners. Now, we also want to know, Miss Gladys, what are the
Mhm.
competitive advantages of your book over other French books written by Filipino authors?
Okay, so there are two French books written by Filipino authors. And in fact, I bought a copy of this, Vonne et Voye. And this was written by two brilliant De La Salle University Das Marinas professors named Ruben Roland and Dr. Constantino Vallena. So I forgot the name of the other book written by a Benguet State U professor. Their books are emphasized on the linguistic elements of French language, like lexicon or vocabularies, syntax or grammatical structure, and morphology. And most of their exercises are only focused on practical drills like what we can find in a regular French textbooks. However, they have only featured one domains of the tourism industry, which is gastronomy. But in my book, in French language one, Basic French for Hospitality Management to Tourism, this tackles the two domains of tourism, hotelier and restaurateur, while the other two domains focus on transportation and entertainment. Also in book one, I gave stress on both French and Filipino gastronomy so that the students will showcase their ability in promoting Filipino cuisine to their French colleagues. Why did I say so? Because I had students who have worked in some French French-speaking countries like Morocco, Canada, France, Belgium, and Switzerland. And they come back to me just to share their experience. So the experience that they have made me inspired to write this textbook. And also, these were actual experience coming not only from my former students but also from my French colleagues, my fellow teachers who are practitioners in this industry. And exercises activities in my book deal with language drills, vocabulary drills, and some work-related activities that they will be facing in the actual workforce. So this can be done in a form of role play, monologues, and advertisements. Okay,
You know
so
what? With
that's
all
it.
of those things that you mentioned, Miss Gladys. I'm
Mhm.
not an HRM student, but I want to know for beginners like me,
Okay.
is your book also applicable? Like, can I read it as well?
Yes, because before chapter 1, I included the supplementary chapter as guide for pronunciation and greetings and expressions.
Wow. Okay. I can't
Yes.
wait to read your book,
Okay.
Miss Gladys. But right now, speaking of our tourism and hospitality management industry, can you
Mhm.
provide examples in the book that illustrates the challenges that is you're facing in the tourism and HRM industry?
Okay. Chapter 9. Chapter 9 deals with general services. This chapter will enable the students on how to address clients' queries, how to deal with
Mm-hmm.
the guests in a cordial and professional manner using basic French. The French guests are really meticulous, and they are so particular on every details provided by the establishment. This chapter will help every student how to explain some hotel activities and amenities. And there are students who undergo immersion or OJT in France and some French-speaking countries, according to my client partner, the Obey Training Center. And every dialogues would help them how to deal with their superiors, colleagues, and clients. Chapter 13. So chapter 13, this deals with preparing a meal. So chapter 13, in explaining how to prepare a meal to a foreign colleague is not an easy task for Filipinos. Majority of their fellow chefs, immediate superiors are French and other European nationals. The spills and dialogues written on this chapter will provide the learner some knowledge on how to prepare it. And in chapter 14, ordering a meal in a restaurant. Taking orders is not just the responsibility of the waiter in an international restaurant and cruise ship. So they are also tasked to give the chef's recommendation and promote the house specialty and other menu. The
Mm.
chapter provides us guide on how to give suggestions and recommendations.
Oh, so you've perfectly covered all of these challenges that this industry is already facing. But right now, Miss Gladys,
Okay.
you've already written foreign language one, basic French for hospitality management and tourism one. Let's
Mhm.
now go to foreign language two, or the basic French for hospitality management and tourism two. Now, this is the second book, but we want to know, why is the book two called Basic French for Hospitality Management and Tourism 2 and not advanced or intermediate?
Okay. So foreign language teaching follows the standard Common European Framework for Languages, or the CEFR. This comprises 6 levels: A1, A1 beginner, A2 elementary, B1 pre-intermediate, B2 advanced intermediate, C1 advanced, and C2 superior. In order to be eligible for A1, a learner or a student should complete at least 60 to 90 hours, which is equivalent to 1 year as an optional or elective subject for the hospitality management and tourism students. A2 would take 150 hours, while B1 would take another 180 or 200 hours. And B2 would take 180 to 300 hours, as well for C1 and C2. So these two French books serves as survival French in the hospitality and tourism management workforce. So someone who has intermediate level is an independent user and is capable of knowing more than 2,000 vocabularies, and they can express their opinions and make arguments.
Oh, I see. So you've been talking about leveling up. What is the
Yes.
importance of the book in leveling up the skills of the students? Can it really help our students really level up in terms of those language levels, those ano natin, what do you call that?
Mhm.
Yung intermediate and
Okay.
advanced levels.
Okay. So the book really did not scrap the linguistic teaching of linguistic aspects of teaching, because we believe learning lexicons or vocabularies and syntax structure are the foundation in forming sentences. So the grammatical structure here is just simplified based on the situation illustrated on the dialogues. So it covers the fundamentals in language learning like gender of nouns, adjectives, conjugation of the verbs in present, past, and immediate future only in the indicative mood. Okay, and the exercises would students on the jargons of the hospitality management and tourism industry.
Oh, and speaking of the students, may we also know how did you integrate the 21st century skills in
Okay.
your foreign language one and two?
Okay, so the 21st century skills is very popular among nowadays. So the jargons and situations illustrated provide information literacy. The book is tailored to the needs of hospitality management and students. This will also enhance the students' critical and creative thinking skills through oral, individual, and group activities. Because majority of the production activities for both oral and written is focused on higher order, create, and analyze. The students are expected to produce tasks that, that they do on some of their professional courses like tour guiding, culinary arts, events management, making reservations, etc. So I know I'm I know I sound right here. Maybe the other tourism practitioner correct me because I am a language practitioner, not a tourism practitioner. Then through
Oh,
this, they will develop their communication and collaboration skills. So the students will be trained on how to be a leader and team player as well.
perfect. Now, as author, have you experienced working in one of the domains of tourism, as mentioned in your books? And would you like to share with us, ma'am, your journey in this field?
Okay, way back 2010, I used
Mm-hmm.
to guide speaking tourists under Costa Romantica. So Costa Romantica is a vessel under Costa Crociere manned by Magsaysay Maritime Incorporated. So when they dock, I was assigned to guide the French-speaking tourists or the Francophone. So I took them to some historical places here in Manila, Luneta, Fort Santiago, and Intramuros. So really have to explain the features and the significance of our tourist spots using French language. Because majority of these French speakers have only basic and lower intermediate knowledge of English. So they won't understand technical English terms. And then they were also assigned to go to Corregidor. And I don't serve as tour guide because they have their local guides. I serve as interpreter. Okay. So as an interpreter, I really have to translate local guide explains to them. And I accompany them along their journey through lunch. So I have to explain the different dishes served to them because they keep on asking what is halo-halo, what are the ingredients and how to prepare it. Thank God I know how to cook because if not, it would be difficult for me to explain even though I know the jargons in culinary arts. Okay. And aside from that, I have to accompany them in the Pasalubong Center. Why? Okay, I have to give you an idea. The French people are not as generous as the Swiss people. Okay, so tip two, HM and TM students. Those who give pouvoir, when I say pouvoir tips, bigger tips are the Swiss tourists. So, and the Swiss and older tourists. Why? So you have to be nice to them, even though they are a bit cranky, because they have the money, they have resources. And those who are nice to you, they carry sweet smile, they are a bit stingy. Believe me. So that's it. That's my experience. We're serving as a tour guide interpreter. I'm not a
Uh-huh.
licensed tour guide. I guess I have to take tour guide training at our Department of Tourism.
Wow, that's really good to know and a good tip to all of our students right now. Now, Miss Gladys, going back again to your books, Foreign
Mhm.
Language 1 and Foreign Language 2, will these two books be applicable in hybrid teaching? Because right
Mm.
now everyone's going digital.
Yes, because all of the lessons and activities are flexible. They can be done through recordings and they can be done also in a face-to-face through role plays.
Oh, okay. There you have it, everybody. That was a very good Q&A with Miss Gladys. Now, we're just going to ask this one question coming
Mm.
from our viewers. This is from Shalom Lumanglas. Ma'am, does your book support the four pillars of education? Learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live.
Yes, okay. So you have to learn, you will be learning, like what I mentioned earlier, the jargons and the actual scenario in a workforce.
Mhm.
Learning to do, uh, you may apply this when you are in the actual field, not only in the actual field, even inside and outside the classroom. Even when you undergo your on-the-job training, whether local or abroad, and learning to live. So um, the journey reading this book does not end during your college days, but you can bring this when you work abroad or in other local industries, because I was inspired by my seafarer students. That's why I came up with these two books. I used to write modules before. Okay. I used to write modules, and then one of my seafarer students asked me, Mom, why don't you write a book on this? We will provide you the jargons, and then just write how we are going to do the conversations with our clients and superiors. So that's learning to live.
Wow. So it really covers the four pillars of education. Now, with everything that you've shared with us, Miss Gladys, a final message to wrap up your segment, final message to all of our viewers who are still tuned in to us right now.
First of all, I would like to thank my mother company, the publishing Rex Bookstore, for giving me a chance to write a book on foreign languages. Okay, and for the readers, please purchase this book, because most French books authored by native speakers are pricey, and you can buy foreign language at an affordable price. Because Rex really caters to the needs of Filipino peoples, like what they have mentioned, para sa bata, para sa bayan.
Para sa mamamayan.
Para sa
Wow.
mamamayan. Okay.
Maraming salamat,
Okay.
Miss Maria Gladys Galinato Tomas. Round of applause, everybody, for Miss Gladys. Thank you so much. Author of Foreign Language 1 and Foreign Language 2. Thank you so much once again to Miss Maria Gladys Tomas. Once again, our fellow Educampions, let's give it up for our authors, Mr. Real G. Cruz for Tourism Policy Planning and Development. And of course, we also just had Miss Maria Gladys Galinato Tomas for Foreign Language 1 and Foreign Language 2. Wow. Now, at the Campions, we have just launched 6 books that will be of big help to all of you, not just in school, not just in your career, but also in your whole life. So, my fellow the Campions, I hope you take advantage of all of these books to help you advance in life and be your best version. Now, earlier today we promised all of you that our keynote speaker will be staying up until the end of our author's Q&A. Right now, to help us better understand, take a deep dive and synthesize what our dear authors just said, may we call back on our virtual stage Dr. Florianne Jimenez. Dr. Jimenez.
Hi, Robin. Thanks for having me back.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Yes, go
Hi,
ahead, Dr.
yes.
Jimenez.
Yeah, thank you for having me back, and congratulations to all of the authors on the publication of your new titles. It was a really interesting mix of authors that we saw today. I love that all of them are really thinking about the new normal. I mean, it doesn't even feel like a new normal anymore. It's just how we live now. Like things are more digital, we're more online, we live more of our lives in online spaces. And I think all of their books touch on these in really interesting ways.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Florianne Jimenez. So, yes, today we have had 6 books that we've launched, really touching on different sectors in the different industries that we have right now. So, yes, we had Dr. Lydia Liwanag, right? Earlier for Pagtuturo Mula sa Puso. We also had Dr. Renato Balyado for technology, for teaching and learning, one. And we also had Miss Sara Monzon po talk about the fundamentals in lodging operations, her book. Dr. Real Cruz on tourism policy planning and development. And our very last author, which we just had a few minutes ago, we had Miss Maria Gladys Calinato Tomas talk about her books, foreign language one and foreign language two. That's basic French for hospitality management and tourism one. And of course, maraming salamat, Dr. Florianne Jimenez, for sharing with us your valuable insights on all about being a responsible digital citizen these days. As always, we are so grateful for having you share your intellectual passions to the fellow educampions, the teachers, the professors, the students, and of course, everyone who's watching us right now from all over the world. Dr. Florianne Jimenez, maraming salamat for gracing us with your presence today. Maraming salamat po. And you know what? Before we let you go, Dr. Florianne, please let us show our appreciation by giving you this certificate of appreciation. And now we have our e-certificate online on the screen. The certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to Dr. Florianne Jimenez for sharing her expertise in the topic discovering and exploring available technology tools for learning during the 2023 book launch and webinar entitled Digital Citizenship, Maximizing Responsible Use of Tech Tools to Level Up Learning. Given this July 15, 2023, signed by Rex Education Chief Marketing Officer Ms. John Marie Tordesillas and Rex Education Chief Executive Officer Mr. Don Timothy Buhain. Dr. Florian, thank you so much. We're so grateful to have you with us. Do you have a final message to everyone who's watching us right now?
Thank you all so much for listening and being in conversation with me today. The concept of digital citizenship, I think, is going to constantly be changing as we get more new tech, we get more new apps, and what it means to be fully online as a teacher, as a student, and as a person is going to continue to evolve. But we have to remember that we are also in control of this process. And it's up to us to be critical of how we engage with it. So thank you all so much for having me today.
Everyone, a virtual round of applause to our keynote speaker, Dr. Florianne Jimenez. Thank you so much. Mabuhay po kayo, Dr. Florianne Jimenez. And there you have it, my fellow Educampions. We hope that you all learned a lot from the insights shared by our authors and, of course, our guest speaker. Once again, can we give our authors and guest speaker a big round of virtual applause? Woohoo! Thank you so much. So yes, you can send your heart reacts and smileys over to our live stream, all right? Now, just like yesterday, we have reached the exciting part, one of the exciting parts of today's webinar. We will be drawing our winners of our raffle draw this morning. Now, I'm sure our winners will be extra happy because one of you will receive 2,000 pesos Sodexo vouchers, a JBL portable speaker, a Logitech Bluetooth mouse, and a Logitech headphone. So stay tuned as you will be revealing the lucky winners in just a bit. But Just like I said earlier, go and get your hands on the books that we have just launched. And good news, everybody, they are now available at Rex bookstores nationwide. You can also reach out to our dedicated education materials advisor in your area or visit the Rex bookstore official stores on Lazada and Shopee Mall platforms, and of course, the Rex e-store. All you have to do is simply scan the QR codes displayed on your screen for easy access. Additionally, if you wish to learn more about our digital learning solutions, we have the Schoology, a learning management system, AA Entrepreneurial Skills Pass, offering entrepreneurship training and internationally recognized credentials. We also have the Harrison Assessments, a cutting-edge web-based career guidance assessment tool. Please don't hesitate to email us at rexeducation at cicsupport@rex.com.ph or contact your education materials advisor in your area. Once again, we would like to thank today's keynote speaker, Dr. Florianne Jimenez, all of our book authors, and of course, we can never ever forget you, all of our dearest educampions, our virtual audience. Maraming salamat for joining us today. And because you stayed with us up until the end, aba, syempre, hindi namin kayo nakalimutan ng ating winners ng ating raffle for today. All right. So once again, also don't forget, for you to get your e-certificates, please don't forget to fill out the evaluation form that is found in the comment section right now. Again, don't forget to fill out the evaluation form that is pinned in the comment section right now. So everyone, we are now at the last stretch of our webinar. I want to know who wants to win prizes right now. If you want to win prizes, comment down in the comment section. Yes, we want to win. We still have a lot of you stay tuned in right now. So we are already drawing the raffle electronically. Before we announce the names of our lucky winners, we encourage again everyone to accomplish the evaluation form pinned on the comment section. I'm going to repeat it all over again. It's pinned in the comment section. That way, we would be able to identify how we can better give you quality webinars and programs that could help all of our educampions in leveling up their learning journey. Sabi nga ni Dr. Real Cruz earlier, Rex Education always has this really good habit of spoiling all of you, our dealers, learners. All right, I think we have already drawn our winners for today's raffle draw. If you're one of the people who shared your insightful questions and comments in our comment box, you have a chance to win in our raffle draw. And right now, we are going to reveal our winners. Congratulations to the following. Winner of our 2000 Sodexo voucher. Congratulations, Queen Jasmine Sabado. Woohoo! Congratulations to Joy Marie Tuyak for winning our JBL portable speaker. Congratulations as well to Teresita Ladisla and Anne Amido, winners of our Logitech headphones. And of course, Joshua Casinilia, congratulations to you, winner of our Logitech mouse. To all of our winners, please send a direct message to the Rex Education Facebook page so we can facilitate the sending of your prizes. Once again, a round of applause, everybody, to all of our winners. Woohoo! And to all of you, our dearest educampions, that wraps up our 2-day book launch and webinar. Congratulations once more to our esteemed authors who have once again achieved a remarkable milestone. This accomplishment adds another feather to your cap, showcasing your incredible talent and dedication to Philippine education. Our dearest educampions, I am certain that all of you are satisfied with the takeaways all of you gain from this program. It is indeed our duty to help our learners maximize their capacities to level up, step up, and be fully equipped with the necessary tools for their college journey. To everyone watching over our official Facebook and YouTube channel, maraming salamat po for being tuned in these 2 days of our book launch and webinar. This has been your host. I am Robin Nambayan. Together, let us always say yes to learning para sa bata, para sa mamamayan, at para sa bayan. I will see you all again very soon, everybody. Happy weekend, our dearest educampions, and stay safe.